All right, a bit of a preamble before I start playing the recording. Tonight, the party is going to adventure into a haunted hospital. This is an excellent example of a classic dungeon crawl. So, without further ado, I shall begin playing the recording. Okay, I've started the recording, and here we are. All right, who would like to give the retelling? I know, Miles, I think you've given it like the past 5 times in a row.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit this one out.
You're so good, though. You're a storyteller.
I know that your characters, like their job and their thing, is retelling stories, but yeah.
I mean, we could just retell the stories from our character's perspective. Like, some stuff happened.
I mean, you're a bird.
I'll do it, because I think I know pretty much what went on. Let's see. So we had a pleasant conversation with the cartsmen. I don't know what to call them. The traveling tradesmen that were heading up toward the town, toward the next town. Was the papers? That was part of last session, right? Okay, so we discovered we would need papers to go through the gates, and Miles' character Heldren took it as a literal needing a story to get through, and so they fashioned up a story, and they love this stuff up here, which is fantastic. So that got us through the gates, and we had to go seek out official papers. Before doing that, we stopped at the inn, and we essentially one person split off, and then everybody else went and helped with the injured or sick, rather, bard that was already there with the two stationed, or the two helping Faythen'ocs there. And Dravin went off on his own to figure out why there was cracks in the floorboards and seeking out a secret room. So they were able to, the other people were able to heal, or at least get better, the sick bard, and then they went off and sought audience with the what is he? He's like a lord.
Yeah, Lord Hypo.
Lord Hypo.
The Green Bridge.
And Draven proceeded to find a secret room and fumble around in it and hurt himself, but make a lot of noise and hide in there for a while. After that, so then, meanwhile, they were met up with a very interesting steward, I guess you'd be, to the Lord, and they met with the Lord, and through Heldren getting exactly what he wanted, arranged to help him with the ghostral. Is it a hospital?
Yes, it is a hospital.
Hospital. And so that is their next goal. Meanwhile, Draven was watching as a person made sure all of his contraband was well seated and okay, and freaked out, very scared, and then went up to ask very politely where his friends were, and was met with a onslaught of attacks and battle exchange and darkness and explosions. Which do we know how much of that inn is left? Like how much of that top floor?
They're definitely missing a wall.
Okay, so they're missing a wall, and then Draven used that as an opportunity to escape, get away from all that, and meet up with the rest of the party as they were exiting the castle. I believe that's where we stopped.
That sounds about right to me.
So I am quite injured. Not very injured, but I'm a bit taxed at the moment. But I will do whatever we need to do right now. So if what's next? How did your thing with the lords go? I don't think we had this conversation when we finished up.
Yes, they have determined that they will. Lord Hypo will grant us papers to journey forth out of this region under his authority, provided that we exorcise the hospital of the haunting that has afflicted it.
Yes, indeed. It was a great idea that you suggested it. It definitely gave us an outlet to get those papers.
I see. This was the place you wanted to visit on our way into town.
Yes, the very same.
I see.
The evening sky has taken on a deep purple glow to it as storm clouds gather on the horizon, and the sun is being buried behind them. There is the rumble of thunder in the distance.
Looks like my tea's not the only thing that's brewing tonight.
Did you just point out that we saw bad weather coming, or was it someone that had said it? I remember from last session. I can't remember if it was just me sitting outside of that bunker or like the trapdoor or whatever, and you'd mentioned that I could like see weather brewing.
Yeah, that was when you first noticed it.
Okay.
It's definitely progressing. The longer you wait, the more likely you are to be caught in the rain.
Might I suggest that when we go to the hospital, we should attempt to recruit the heroes from the other party that whose bard has been waylaid. He has already. Did he give us? I don't remember if he gave us his blessing or if he specifically gave Draven his blessing.
No, when
He didn't
you
talk.
were there.
Okay.
When he revealed to you the beacon, the psychic beacon that he uses to navigate, he also asked that if you were going to the hospital before he was well enough to travel, if you would take his heroes with him or with you, so that they can do their great deeds.
Right, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so if we're gonna approach the hospital now, I'd suggest that we we have a couple heroes that are ready to go, that are willing to join us.
Yes, these ones are quite powerful.
Yes, I've heard one of them says that they are great with the bow, and I would like to see her use it.
As we come up on the inn, you will see the aftermath of her using it.
Heading back to the inn, you do see there's a bit of commotion outside of it. One of the upper floors is missing a significant portion of the wall. There's some rope tied up there to prevent people from falling out of it if they wander uncautiously. And there are what look like some official guardsmen in front of the inn. They're not inside. They seem to be having a discussion with the proprietor of the inn. These guys are wearing uniforms with crests that are very reminiscent of what you saw in Hypo's castle. So you have a strong sense that they're some sort of official city guard.
Okay, and when Terengir and Hypo basically contracted us to take care of the hospital. Did they give us any form of documentation or anything like that? Okay, cool.
No.
All right, so I would propose that we go and look for these heroes to recruit them to our task.
All right. Last you saw them, they were inside the inn.
All right, I suppose that's where we should go.
Approaching the door, you can hear sort of the tail end of the conversation. The innkeeper is saying, "No, we're just doing some remodeling. We're thinking of adding a balcony up there." The town guard seems suspicious, as though he doesn't believe the innkeeper. He says, sort of backing away, he says, "If there's trouble, call us." He turns and actually you recognize him. He was one of the guards that was at the kennels where they were keeping the riding cats outside of the Hypo's castle.
Cool. So we basically saw him on the way in then.
Yeah. And he sees you and he says, kind of,
yeah.
"Oh, it's you."
Yeah,
Doesn't seem super respectful of you.
I'll say, yes, good sir, it's me. we are going to exercise your castle. Fear not.
Well, best of luck.
Oh, yeah.
May the Lord's blessing shine on you. Green and ever growing.
I'll just repeat that back to him.
There's definitely a theme going on with green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in like Lord Hypo's whole like symbolism, like his whole iconography and shit. So yeah, I pick up.
All
on
those
that.
pictures
like,
had him carrying a green spear. But you never saw anything remotely like it on this person.
No, didn't they? Wasn't there? Did we hear something about the spear having been taken and like absconded back to the hospital, or did we hear it was? Because I remember we heard something about how the hospital was. Well, okay, wasn't it the people who died in the hospital had been carried back from Faythen'oc, right? Is that what it was?
A lot of them had come from a battle to the south, so that was somewhere in the Faythen'oc province.
Yeah, and that was in the same time frame as when Dario died, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You you didn't hear anything about his spear in being involved in that. Yeah. I don't think you actually asked anybody about the spear.
Okay, that's fine. I probably should have.
This guy is here. Well, no, you can ask him.
Yeah, I feel like Lord Hypo himself. You can't really ask about his spear. Like, yo, that spear that's clearly very important to you. Like, what gives? Where's that, dude? I feel like you'd be really putting him on the spot, you know. And he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would take well to that. The whole house of cards kind of comes tumbling down under any slight kind of questioning. So I don't really want to pull at that thread, at least with him. But yeah, I'll ask this guy. I'll say, "Hey, green and never growing." Ah, yes, you refer to Lord Hypo's spear, right? Is that the green branch of spring, or is that Lord Hypo's title?
It's something of both. He earned the title wielding the spear in service to the emperor, of course.
Ah, yes, of course. And that spear would does he must keep it locked up safe now, right? I did not see it on his person, but understandably so. If I had such a precious artifact, I might not be inclined to wield it on my own person either.
The spear has not been seen for 20 years. The Lord has claimed that thieves from the Jaibur province to the north have taken it, and as the Lord's faithful servant, I will not contradict him.
And I would not ask you to.
This guy looks like he's been in service for a while. He's not one of the young and brash soldiers. This guy's seen a lot, and you can tell his speech is very carefully laid out.
Yeah, and I'll say if if I were to propose that we may be an asset in recovering the spear, would that perhaps warrant being slightly more forthcoming on this subject?
If you were to recover his spear, bringing, of course, justice to the thieves that stole it, then I am certain my lord would be very gracious.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, absolutely. That would certainly help to cement our bond, which I would very much like to do. But in order to do that, I would need to know with absolute certainty who has it, or with as much certainty as you can offer, where it is and who is in possession of it.
He gives you this kind of narrow look. It says, like, my subtext should be obvious, even to you. And he says, who can be certain among thieves?
Yes, thieves. Thieves. It's always thieves. And I'll say, all right, well, clearly you've told me all you can, so I'll make the best of. I'll do as much as I can with that. Thank you very much.
And with that, he trots off. The innkeeper has, while you were talking, has gone inside and is having a rather heated discussion with the bard and his violent crew on the inside there.
Okay, I'll kind of just kind of walk into that and just kind of try to. I wasn't actually here for this. Like, Draven would know all about what happened. I don't, so I'm just gonna kind of try to piece together what's happened.
And Draven managed to pull off the whole thing without ever actually being seen. So there's that. Yeah, the bard is being super diplomatic, as bards do, and is issuing an apology, while the lady hero is saying, like, I swear I heard it. He was somewhere in that room. I swear he was. Little ghost. I will get him.
Say, ghosts. Perhaps it came from the hospital.
She doesn't actually seem to disagree with that.
Or from the decoration I see you've done, he might have been vanquished.
At a minimum, this looks like a very well-controlled demolition. Well done.
She said, I would have done more, but I only had time to loose a single arrow.
I'm just gonna widen my eyes like, what the fuck?
The arrows on her back look like siege weapons. It looks like the size of something you would load into, like, a ballista, not a bow.
All right, this is Aguela, right?
Yes.
All right, and what was the one with spike on? Did we ever get his name?
I have it written down here. Let me see.
I don't know if we spoke. I don't know if he spoke. I think we only talked to
He's
her.
been very quiet. He is Sinlan of Spiked Fists, Galista of Spear and Bow, and Sinlan of Spiked Fists.
All right. Well, I will. Yeah, I'll just approach them and I'll just say, our intention is to fulfill our obligation at the hospital tonight. Would you be willing to join us?
Both of them kind of glance to their bard for approval, but he gives a subtle nod, and they agree. They're eager for battle. Glista voices this boldly. I will have revenge against the little ghosts.
Yes.
Sinlan just quietly grips his little spike knuckle things a little harder, a little fiercer.
Yes, let's absolve this calamity.
Draven, you're just, like, standing there in plain view. But because you were never spotted, they have no idea.
It's definitely not in my character to like apologize for anything. It would just be like if someone asked me something relevant, I would answer it.
And again, that would just be a shot in the dark.
Ah.
Speaking of which, the sun is basically set at this point. Like the last tendrils of sunset are leaving the sky, but the weather is sort of filling it, and you're not getting a lot of stars. Instead, a bright moon is peeking out between clouds, casting sort of wavy shadows down at the countryside below. It does so in bursts as the clouds shift around it. While the crackle of thunder is heard occasionally, no lightning yet. And no rain.
Well, I can think of no better time to confront ghosts.
That's what I love about Faythen'oc. Everybody else would be like, all right, so let's wait till morning and then go in. Everybody else is... Faythen'oc are like, no. We wait until it's the spookiest time. That's the best time.
It's the most heroic time. You know, when we're telling the tale, you know, when the tale is being retold a decade or even a century from now, nobody will tell of the time that you went to confront the ghosts in the middle of the morning. No, it'll be at the stroke of midnight you confronted the ghosts in the haunted hospital. And I'm not a liar, so we're just going to do it the way that the story commands.
On the what is the hour of the haunting usually?
The locals tell that it gets worse at night, but there are basically necromancers guarding it to try and keep it contained to the building. And then those two necromancers themselves have their own guards to keep them safe. Those guys just have spears.
How's spears gonna do against the spirits?
Well, they're not called swordits.
Speaking of spirits, your two new hero companions both down a hearty drink in preparation for battle, and step forward.
We're still in the tavern, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll ask the innkeep for a round of, some nice whiskey. Let's really get this started right.
The innkeeper says, and how will you be paying for that?
With coin. I'll give you I'll give you a very artistic coin for this.
He kind of sighs and he says,
wait.
I can't be affording charities right now.
Yeah. But wait. I actually have this one coin that the artistry is just garbage, but it is a substance that you call gold, and it is of a great deal of weight.
He raises an eyebrow and says, you seem to have better understanding of this than your usual fare.
Like, yes, you care about this coin, despite the fact that the artistry is, it's Faythen'oc, so it's good, but it's of a lesser quality. It's apprentice quality, but you don't care, if I understand correctly, right?
All right. This is definitely a roll. I'm trying to figure out what the roll is.
All right. Just let it be an empathy roll, and I'm happy.
I think empathy plus trade, actually, is, yeah.
All right. Well, I've got 0 trade, but I got 4 empathy, so let's do it.
In any other circumstance, I'd probably just make you roll your resources, but in this case, you narrated a wonderful, wonderful description of how you're going to convince him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Novus isn't up because it's not here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Sorry. Oh, it is?
Yeah, Ed set up Uther to just live on his laptop and run indefinitely.
All right, cool. Well, I got 2 successes.
Wait until his laptop gets turned off, right?
Well, yeah. Or until the
I can
cat
talk.
unplugs it or something.
I'll talk to Ed later, because I have a server that's up all the time.
Okay.
So if we can get that connected, like it's always on. So
Excellent. Well, for tonight, we have Uther to roll our dice for us.
yeah, that's nice. Good job, Ed. Setting
Hooray
that
for
up. We'll go.
Utherbot.
Thanks later.
All right, then. So you get 2 successes. So he says, not around for the whole table, but your party. Your party can have some whiskey for this.
So okay, that's all. That was my intention, anyways. I wasn't trying to buy around for everyone. So, all right. So thank you, good sir. Here is this coin that you value for some reason.
He clearly has to deal with Faythen'oc from time to time as part of just living here in a southern region. So he has some encountered experience, and he fully expected you to do something ridiculous, like try and buy a round for the entire inn.
So no, the inn has already been rewarded by the fact that when legends tell of how we exercise the hospital, they'll be able to say they were there. That's better. That's a better reward than any drink.
Yeah, and that's the part that he's always afraid of. Sighs. What I put up with.
Said, but as for us, as for this party here, we need to venture forth with the utmost of courage. And nothing aids you in courage quite like whiskey.
This is a it is a whiskey of sorts. It's less grain and more root based, but it's hard hitting all
Cool.
the same.
Yeah. So as it punches you in the face, I'm good.
Yeah. It's a local mix, but it definitely has the punch.
May I take the shots and give us a little bit more pep?
Yes, of course. Masashi here, and I'll actually motion over to the innkeeper. I'll say, "Yeah, you should watch this. This is Masashi. He is, he makes miracles with drink."
If you wish, innkeeper, I can. If you give me some access to some just basic, some basic materials, I can make a drink, a tea brew for this whole place that will have your place filled up in a matter of minutes.
A tea, eh? Never heard of an alcoholic tea. Willing to try anything at least once. I got beer, water, whiskey. Those are the ingredients I got.
Don't worry, I'll figure this out. As I pulled up some, still a bit of the leftovers of, and I'll go in the back if I'm permitted.
He shrugs, it's not like you can blow another wall off my roof, right? No, wait, seriously, right?
I'll say I wouldn't rule it out. He probably could, but I think you can be reasonably confident that he won't.
All right, Tice, go ahead and roll your dice, and let's see what we're doing. This would be your trade plus, do you use focus?
I normally use empathy, but...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
And then my tea set, right?
Yes, your tea set gives you pips. And you can give a threshold bonus if one of your traits gives you an advantage. I would say you're being very respectful to this guy, given that he's you're trying to make something special for him, given that he suffered a loss.
Yeah. Okay. So threshold of 5 with let's see, 4 empathy and 4 trade, so 8 dice, and then 6 pips. Unless if the whiskey also gives pips.
No, it does not. This is not high grade.
That is 8 successes. As I make
Okay.
a nice delicious whiskey with a couple ingredients I found in the randomly back. He had some he had some older vanilla, and just like it's like it's like I didn't even know you had this. It's a very good aged vanilla you have back here, and I had him the half a bottle that's left, and it was just like a giant vat of this tea that's brewing. This should last for at least an hour tonight, depending on how many people come here.
All right. He thanks you that this has gone a long way towards repairing his mood. He doesn't actually blame you specifically for the incident, but the improvement of his patrons, and he basically puts it up for sale for about a 20% markup over his usual stuff.
Yeah, and also I will also make it caffeinated.
You gonna make it what?
I'll make it the using the Grill Master.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, yes, caffeinated is good. It means they can drink more before they pass out. It's good for business.
It also means that anyone partaking in the tea can recover 4 tax.
That's
I
from
think I
All right.
that's from survival, right? Because I don't have the
From
my
Grill
link.
Master.
Yeah, because my for some reason my Talus link isn't working.
Oh, yeah. Let me look it up. Yes, Grill Master is survival. Tax your survival by 1, and those dining on the meal can restore a number of tax to any facet equal to your survival skill.
That's including myself, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah. It doesn't
That's a weird
explicitly
one.
say not, so yeah.
Okay, so everyone gets
Probably just that you can't restore the one you used. Because that would be kind of weird.
Yeah, when we were playing on Somos, Ed was playing it where he couldn't restore his own stuff, but he also had more than just Grill Master. He had some ridiculous combo that ended up giving 10 tax restoration.
Yeah, I ended up just accepting that nobody was ever taxed. I was like, all right, this is how this is gonna be.
Except for Ed. Ed ended up taxed as crazy because he couldn't recover his own.
Ed was like constantly taxed to like death's door, but everyone else was just peachy keen.
So yeah, hopefully that helps the party out.
Yeah, that helped a
Helps
lot.
me if I grab a cup.
I needed it. I needed it bad, so that does.
Yeah, some whiskey.
Whiskey.
So when we're storing tax like that, can we just do we put it into stamina and pull from or endurance and pull from there kind of thing, or?
You can't trade with your stamina to endurance or your stuff to endurance until you sleep. But this will just you can pick whatever facet you want.
do we have to trade? Basically, are we doing the trading now, or can we just directly untax existing taxes?
You can directly untax existing taxes. You cannot trade right now.
Okay, cool.
Because you're not sleeping. This is just an evening meal before battle. And upon completion of it, about an hour has passed. The sun is well and truly gone. The darkness beyond the lights coming out of the windows of the various buildings around the city is deep. But overhead, the clouds part just enough that the bright moonlight casts down, revealing the winding path leading down to the hospital. And then there's a flash of lightning. The hospital is all that is visible in the night. And then it passes. Darkness engulfs everything. And after a few seconds, a rumble of thunder carries itself across the plains. Halfway down the path towards the hospital, you hear, and then feel, and then eventually through the darkness see the first drops of rain striking the path.
So yes, a dark and rainy night, the best time to confront ghosts. This is perfect.
Specifically, a dark and stormy night.
Yes, of course, a dark and stormy night.
Yes,
we could not have scripted this any better.
as it starts raining, I'll just flip my cane over, and I'll put a little funnel on the top of my kettle, and just like as the water starts raining, I'll just like collect it into my thing.
That's awesome. It's a good use of available material, right?
Yeah, fresh water.
Indeed. Spooky water, no less. There's a small pavilion down at the entrance of the hospital to keep the necromancers out of the rain. These are not the same necromancers that were there before. You imagine there was some kind of a shift change. But they're still there, and they're still holding their icons of the balance of life and death. Focusing on keeping things contained.
Okay, and as Masashi is collecting this water, I'd like to kind of aid with this in bardic fashion by kind of narrating the yes, as you can tell, Talus itself has sent forth a cleansing storm to aid us in our endeavor, and Masashi has wisely collected this purifying water that will surely assist him in his endeavors to come.
You hear that? Your water's now purifying. Because a bard said so.
Yes, of course. It is as the legends have said before, that rain is merely the teardrops of angels.
I was kind of nod solemnly at that.
As you proceed up towards the pavilion, you cannot help but be reminded that one of Daru's daughters was named Rain.
Thank you for reminding me of that, because I had completely forgotten.
The other two were named Wind and Lightning.
Oh, all right. Okay, I see where this is going.
All right, so yeah, you reach the pavilion. The guards with spears are watching you approach. They hail you, gesture you to come in out of the rain. The rain is starting to pick up now. It looks like it's going to be quite a downpour when it gets rolling, but it's taking its time to build up momentum. The necromancers are just busy. They're waving their arms about. Little bits of glowing energy dance across their fingertips, and their icons are shifting in colors as their yin and yang sort of twirl in their hands. It's a very active night in the spirit world, it seems. But the other guards are happy to talk, as they
Okay.
have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I'll speak to them. I'll say, yes, Lord Hypo has sent us here to exorcise the ghosts from this hospital.
So we've heard. And, good luck with that. It's right over there. The other one kind of punches them. It's like, we'll interrupt them for a moment and have them open a gate for you.
So yes, thank you.
The other guy was like, he's like, I don't want to get wet. So he puts like a little shield up over his head just to try and stay dry. And they dash over to one of the boarded up gates. One of the necromancers makes sort of a gesture with his hand, and the runes around the outside of the gate begin to glow a bright green. And as they do so, the other two, the non-magic users here, begin prying the boards away from the door. One of them does have a hammer ready to put the boards back. You're not sure if he's going to wait till you get out of here safely before he does that?
No need. I do not care.
I mean, Draven, from what you've seen, this lady can just shoot the door straight off its hinges if she wants to.
Yes, we will not be trapped.
All right, so the doors pried open. The water is now starting to come down in serious droplets. Staying out here any longer, you're going to be soaked to the bone. And so the gate is open, leading into what looks like a sort of entry hall.
Oh, so this is like the actual building itself, right? This isn't like an outer gate thing?
Nope. It's all one building. The building is 6 stories tall. It has very few windows on any of the floors. Mostly it's just blank wall, leaving almost no clue as to what's inside. But here inside this main gate, you do see a hall continuing into the darkness within. Did anyone bring any sources of light?
I was planning on basically turning Masashi's tea kettle into a source of light.
Actually, as I have described in many times before, on one side is my kettle and the other side is a lantern.
You see? A very useful hero to have on board.
So I flip my kettle all around so that I can, once we get inside, I'll pull out something to light it with.
Cat sighting.
Hey, no.
No, it's like, no, I want to chill on your keyboard.
The keyboard is much warmer.
Has she figured out that lying on top of your computer case is the warmest of all?
She does like that. Unfortunately, it puts her far away from me because it's like about 7 inches further away from me than the keyboard is, and she doesn't like that. She wants to be up close.
She wants to be an easy petting range.
Yep, that's the plan. Okay, so they close the door behind you, and you hear them nailing it shut. Your lantern fills the hall with light, and you see that the hallway goes down like 30 or 40 feet to an empty desk. There are doors along both sides, several of them, but these are very small doors, kind of like office doors. Beyond the desk, you see bigger doors, like doors that maybe you would take patients into when they're sick. The entire air is just musty. No one's been in here in 2 decades. There's dust everywhere, and outside you hear the crash of thunder and the patter of rain. And just slightly, the slight groaning of a structure being stressed by the elements.
Well, where there's thunder, there must be lightning. So we can only assume that Daru's daughters are here tonight.
Yes. Misashi is just taking it a couple minutes to like get in there because like he has to like put a like little he pulls out a little herb bag that he puts over his nose so they could like have something to smell instead. Oh, this place smells incredibly dreadful.
So yes, even ghosts deserve much better than this.
Seems like my blessing of my nose is a curse in this place.
Speaking of ghosts, those of you that have psychic sense, you are not sensing anything out of the ordinary right now.
Okay.
While the atmosphere is
I'm actually
yeah.
not going to relay that to anybody because I want them to believe that there are ghosts here, even if there aren't. You know, it's a better story, man.
So, where's the first place we should go to find these ghosts? Or are they already in our vicinity?
There are none in our direct vicinity, but I believe that there are several dueling impulses here. We could take a very comprehensive view of this and search room to room, or we could go directly to where we feel would most likely be the source of all this, which would likely be whatever trauma ward they may have had here. I'm of the latter persuasion. I believe that going directly to the trauma ward would be probably the simplest way to attack this problem. But whatever you guys are inclined to do, I understand. You are the heroes, after all.
Yes.
It seems that if somebody was entering this hospital that was injured, the first thing they would come upon would be this desk up the hall. Whether that's like a check-in desk or an information desk, you're not really sure. You've never seen this hospital operational before, but that would definitely be the first thing anyone would encounter.
I'll kind of pull Draven aside and I'll say, all right, I think the best way to do this might be to send one bard ahead with at least one hero in their company to kind of scout ahead to get the lay of the land, while the other stays behind and tries to kind of comprehensively glean as much information about what happened here as possible by searching through whatever documents have been left behind. Do you think this plan makes sense?
Yes, that does sound like the right way to handle this, but who would be doing what?
I'm open to either. I'll leave that up to you. I'm comfortable in either role.
So if I understand correctly, one was to go investigate and the other was to read paper.
Essentially, yes.
I see. I take it I shall be moving on ahead then.
I think perhaps that would be wisest.
Who would go with me?
I love this. We're like just in the door of the haunted house, and already the characters are saying, "Let's split up."
It's the best story.
We should not brew here for too long, for the price might be steep.
And to be clear,
oh my god, that was awesome.
That was just soaked in it.
And to be clear, I'm not suggesting that you go far ahead. Perhaps one or two chambers ahead. Nothing extreme.
You okay? So just so I understand on the side, it was a long hallway, but like not very long. Because you were saying 30, 40 feet, so that's not like super far. But what we're essentially considering at this point, the front desk, is at like the back of the building, down a hallway?
No, it's the first thing that will interrupt your travel down this hallway. The hallway
I
then
see.
continues past it.
Got
and
it. So
branches
it's
from
not
there.
like it's not against the wall. It's like one of those like a circular desk in the middle kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
looks like. Okay, I misunderstood entirely what this was. So that was
Yeah.
confusing the crap
Yeah, it's
out of
like I'm not suggesting we like split up altogether. This isn't like some fucking Scooby-Doo bullshit. But I am suggesting that somebody should definitely ransack the hell out of this front desk and glean as much information as possible, and that we probably don't need to waylay the entire party while somebody does that.
I see.
Does anyone else have a light source, by the way?
I was just about to ask, using his light, can we see anything else in the room? Using our current light, is there anything in visibility like candles or anything along the walls like sconces?
No, there are doors along the walls, but
there's nothing like hanging on the walls for like light as it goes down.
Now, can you convince any of the heroes that any of their items generate light?
That might be more your forte.
I can try. I can.
I feel like you
try.
could just write it into being, right?
Yeah, I'll talk to the guy with the spike gauntlets. I'll say, I've heard that when channeling, when channeling a sense of general righteousness, when you know that you're walking on the right path to cleanse this world, that your gauntlets are capable of generating a brilliant light. Am I correct? Was I correct in understanding that? Because that's the tale that's told far and wide.
So he seems to like be willing to go with it. So it kind of shrugs. Like, yeah, sounds about right. He doesn't actually say anything. He's very quiet.
So all right, I'll say it's okay. You don't need to say anything. I just need you to will it into being.
All right, and so he focuses on his gloves, and you see belief sort of pouring out of him and just lingering in the air with nothing quite yet ready to attach to. Putty Play-Doh for you to mold.
And I can mold it? All right. I would like to channel that potential directly into his gauntlets and use it to basically just create like a light source that is essentially as bright as it can be without being like distracting or like painful to the eye.
Okay. This is improvisation.
Shining gold.
It's a first circle effect. So
Okay.
yeah, you'll need one success on your roll.
And I'm rolling my potential, right?
Correct. And then the cost of it will be your cost is either 1 potential or 5 either stamina or endurance.
All right, well I got 4 successes, so we got it.
Nailed it.
So
What's
you say
the name of the spell? You said a name, right? Or
no, this is just an improvisational spell.
All right, so you said the cost is 1 potential or 5 stamina?
Correct. You currently trade at 5 to 1 unless you have abilities or anything that would improve that.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I'll take it to my stamina. All right, so we got a light source.
Indeed. He eagerly steps to the front and is ready to take the lead. He also looks like at any moment he might just go charging down the hall, punching at the air, trying to get them darn ghosts.
All right, is Tice here right now?
Aye.
I'll suggest. Well, since he's charging down that way, perhaps it would be best if you stayed here with me for the moment. We won't be long. I'll get through this desk quickly. I just want to make sure that any artifacts of history that they have here are properly preserved to be told in stories later.
Right, who's going with the charging Faythen'oc hero?
I'll be following him in a very quickened pace, I guess.
Okay. And then
It's going to be very subtle following.
his companion with she switched, put her bow on her back and has pulled out a spear that could easily be mistaken for a telephone pole. It's not quite that big, not really, but you can see how someone could make that mistake.
So you described this chick as huge before. Exactly how huge are we talking? Now I'm kind of curious. She's running around with a telephone pole.
She's like 7 feet tall.
Okay.
Yeah, like incredibly muscular. Think bodybuilder.
All right.
Amazon.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking when you described her.
To give you an example here, like this hallway could easily fit the traffic of people carrying bodies in both directions, plus have sick people lining the sides of the walls, and yet she has to hold her spear at an angle to actually get it to fit into the hall. She can't just hold it straight up.
Venatori, you're missing this.
So beware of Snoo Snoo.
By the way, what's our plot reason for Venatori not being here going to be?
That's a great reason, or a great question, and she can come up with that. Maybe she is.
Oh, cool. Later. All right. Yeah. Maybe she's hanging out in the background. Maybe she's just so awestruck watching, watching this hero charging into battle that she's just rendered useless.
Yeah, I think she's just following around with like her sketchbook, trying to sketch out ideas.
Figure out how best to use the canvas before her.
We'll retcon in whatever she decides she was doing when she gets back.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. So Draven, you're off chasing this guy as he runs down a hallway, and he briefly turns out of sight and then sort of pops back around before you're too lost in the dark, and waits patiently. He is well trained to know that he can't truly do any great deeds if there isn't a bard to witness.
Got it. I'll pick up the pace if he's having to slow down.
Yeah, although you imagine, based on his demonstration, that if he really wanted to, there's no way you could keep up with him. But just from his pure athletic ability, you'd probably need to use magic to keep up with him.
I was considering using magic to slow him down, actually, but either way.
That would also work. Oh my goodness. Just completely passed out.
That's the cutest thing in the world.
Yep.
Yeah, just blame it on the ghosts. Good plan. Okay, so meanwhile, you and Masashi are alone at the desk.
Yeah, I'll just ask Masashi. I'll kind of I'll start looking over the center of the desk and start pulling open the drawers. And I'll say, Masashi, can you just root through these drawers on the left-hand side and just pull out any parchment that has writing on it? If you could just pull it out, I'll just quickly glance over everything, and I'm just gonna quickly check dates, and I assume they have patient logs and stuff like that. And basically, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Any kind of patient log, any kind of journal, anything that I have reason to believe corresponds to roughly the date where all this happened. I assume almost everything will, just because I assume that this was most of the stuff that's on there will be things that were abandoned when the hospital was abandoned, therefore will be directly relevant to what we're searching for. But yeah, I just ask. I don't want to ask Masashi to dive too deep into filtering what he's reading. Basically, just if there are words on and you have reason to believe that it's in the date range we're looking for, just pass it over to me, and I just want to speed read through it pretty much.
All right. The desk does have numerous papers, although all of them have been filtering. Yeah, all of them have been ravaged by the past 20 years. They've not been stored in anything that would keep them safe or secure. but yeah, there may yet be information. This would be an investigation check. Also, there are 4 little holders that at one point had candles in them around the desk. 3 of them, the candles have just burned down, like completely melted down, and the wick burned out. There's just the tiniest puddle of wax where the candle once was, and then drippings of wax on the floor underneath where these candles were. It looks like they were positioned to be at the 4 corners of the desk to give maximum light to the workers on the inside. The desk itself has 2 entrances to get inside it.
Okay.
It is a circular desk, as you previously discussed.
So you said,
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it looks like it was meant to be manned by a staff of like 2 or 3 people to handle the paperwork on the inside. And boy, howdy, they have paperwork.
Okay, so you said that there were 4 candles and 3 of them are completely burned down. So one of them isn't, correct?
Correct.
All right, I'm going to try the same bullshit I tried before. I'm going to pass the last remaining candle over to Masashi. And I'll say, as a hero who is equipped with a light source, I believe that you are in the perfect position to perform an old trick that is known to us bards, but that we need heroes to make work. And the way it goes is that you provide a light source. And that light source, it doesn't just any pedestrian light source, any elementary light source. You know, any caveman can strike flint to tinder and make a fire and create light. But what heroes can do is they can make ink and parchment legible long past when it should have been. They can undo the effects of time in a temporary and limited way so that we can read things that have otherwise been long lost to time. Are you up for that?
Yes, there has been telltales of tea readings, being able to read, to decipher with.
So yes, exactly. This is nothing but an advanced tea reading.
He will pull off his giant bowl, and he will pull out he'll grab the papers and put them to the giant bowl, and brew some of the angelic water that he has, and he'll pour into the bowl. And after it cools down a little bit, he'll drink until the very dredge, and like he'll leave a little bit of slush for the papers left, and then he will do the swirling of the books, of the paper leaves to read it.
All right. I love this. So first, this is going to be Miles casting a spell. And you are, I presume, giving him bonuses to his investigative ability to reconstruct.
Yes.
By supernaturally rebuilding the history. That's awesome. So go ahead and roll your dice there.
And this is my potential, right?
Absolutely.
2 successes.
Okay. And then, Tice, you have an extra 2 successes to your roll. And then narrate what the magic looks like.
So I'm using investigation, right?
Yes. Most likely investigation plus cunning. If you really want to, like, take your time, you could maybe use focus, but he's casting a spell. So this isn't like a long duration thing.
I guess I can do focus.
Yeah, alright.
I was going to try to figure out way to BS empathy, but I don't think I can empathy paper.
I mean, if they're at all close, cunning's probably better just for the pure time frame involved, because we want to do this as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
But if your focus is like way better than your cunning, then then yeah.
So they're both no, my focus is 2.
Yeah, I would just go with your cunning then. I mean, it's
Might
probably saving time and having it be like kind of within like the spirit of what we're trying to do is probably worth more than 1 extra dice.
Yeah, so I'd be rolling 1 dice with 2 successes.
All right, so in total you have 4 successes.
Oh no! I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, okay.
I was saying I have 1 dice in total,
Oh,
and I get 2
I
successes
see.
from his because I have no investigation. I'm doing a T reading, or yeah, and would my T set just help it because I'm using it?
Yeah, yes. I mean, this is some supernatural Faythen'oc magical bullshit. So yeah.
It's probably the only time a T set will ever help you investigate anything. But all right, let's do it.
I know that the pips from that T set basically means your roll is a success. Like you could roll a 1 and it's still a success.
Yeah, I rolled a 1.
All right, so 3 successes. I like it.
All right, go ahead and narrate what it looks like to reconstruct the paper.
Wait, Tice, one question. Is your T set only a P6? Because like as a Faythen'oc, wouldn't it just be P8 by default if it's something that you...
We're out of Faythen'oc area.
But the quality of the T set itself would still be P8, right?
Yes.
Oh, it would be? I thought you said it goes down in quality once we leave the Faythen'oc area.
No. Acquiring other T sets outside of Faythen'oc. Like if you were to go buy a new T set outside of Faythen'oc, it would be terrible. But in Faythen'oc, yeah. You spent a renown on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quality 8.
So the degradation that I think you're thinking about is our ability to channel like the belief network. The belief network goes to shit outside Faythen'oc.
Okay, because like the last few sessions, I've been running it as a P6.
Yeah, it's definitely quality 8 at 8 pips. Not that it matters in this circumstance, but yeah, for future notes there.
Yeah, you just like sort of like he just sort of like whisks it in the in the bowl around, and as you like look into the bottom of the like the little bit of murky that's left, you can see like letters forming and stuff as you like sort of like as he just like looks down. It's like this is interesting. As he like points out like this spot, it means this, and like.
Yeah, like I kind of just like as you pointed out, like actually like projects outwards into like this weird like 3-dimensional space where we just got like words floating around us. We're just like reading them.
And what you were able to gather from reading these words is that a lot of people got injured, and then they came here. There's lists of names and the types of injuries. The injuries are all consistent with battle. Severed limbs, punctured lungs. Some of these people are just listed as can't be helped. Others are listed as treatable by non-magical means. And then the third category is requires magical intervention.
I'd like to investigate the requires magical intervention reports. Are there any Faythen'oc in that group that I can tell from their report?
None of the names look in any way Faythen'oc-ish.
Okay. Which isn't really a surprise. Yeah, it makes sense that they wouldn't bring the Faythen'oc back here. You know, why would you treat the enemy? All right. I would like to look further. Are there any? Do any of the reports indicate like significant like elemental damage, like lightning or fire, or something that you wouldn't expect to find in the course of like a normal battlefield? Basically, any extraordinary injuries that aren't readily explainable away by just like going against a really strong person with a sword or a warhammer or something.
Yeah, there are a few severed limb ones that are. It looks like the limbs were cauterized before they even came in. There's also lots and lots of reports of just that it can't be helped. This guy is dead. there's nothing we can do, that seem to have it not necessarily fire and lightning kind of trauma, but significant trauma, the kind like a mountain punched you kind of trauma.
Yeah, the kind that you can't come by through natural means.
Yeah, like every bone in his
Okay.
body was broken. His body is basically a gelatin sack now. Kind of trauma.
All right, fair enough. I would like to attempt to memorize the names of all the people who were killed. And specifically, if any of them appear to be of like some kind of a high military rank, I assume that would be noted somewhere in their profile. And I'd like to take particular care to make sure that I remember them.
It appears that almost everyone on this list has some kind of military rank associated with their name. There is only one notable exception. There does appear to be a farmer child, a child of a farmer that was brought in for some kind of illness. No physical injury, just sick. It's kind of stands out as an anomaly amongst all of these soldiers with missing limbs.
Yeah, I mean that's probably coincidence, but it still feels worth committing to memory and investigate. I'd like to. Actually, no, I don't need to memorize any of this. I'll just write them all down in my journal. I don't know why I thought I needed to memorize them.
It will probably take you a while. There's at least 100 names here, but you can get started with that. As the spell sort of starts winding down, you notice something. The candle that you had used as a focus appears to be lit, but the fire is not natural. It is a blue flame, and there does appear to be some psychic residue on the flame.
Okay, I mean, I have a keen psychic sense. I think I'd be like pretty in tune here. Do I get the sense that this is is this like kind of like the kind of like cantrip or spell that I'd expect somebody to throw on a candle that just kind of happens, or is this something weird and unusual?
This is definitely in the weird and unusual category. Generally speaking, people would use a light for their cantrip that would generate more useful visible light for reading.
Okay.
This seems to be that kind of soft blue that you can see it easily in the dark, but it's not doing much to light up your surroundings.
Okay, so I'll draw Masashi's attention to it. I'll say, Masashi, this, I have a very keenly attuned psychic sense. I can feel psychic energy burning off this candle. You can feel it too, can you not?
What?
Yeah, you don't really feel anything. You don't have psychic abilities. You just, the candle is lit by a blue flame. It's kind of spooky.
Does it smell any different?
No, it in fact does not smell like it's burning at all.
That is strange. It doesn't smell like it's burning at all.
I'll say, can you see the flame?
Masashi will stick his hand in the flame.
That's
because he can smell it and it's not burning currently.
That's a fair thing. So you put your hand in the flame, and you see all around you ghostly blue images of people rushing in, carrying bodies on stretchers. The bodies have horrific injuries. They stream past, sort of leaving trails of light hanging in the air. They're almost moving in slow motion, and yet there's an incredible sense of urgency. Screams sort of echo in your head for a moment, and then when you pull your hand away, a portion of the candle has melted. The blue flame is still there, though.
Interesting. I would suggest you stick your hand in the flame.
Yeah,
So how much of the candle just melted?
About a quarter of it.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I will stick my hand in it then.
You see the same image. You see like people roaming around. They're a lot of the ones on the sides are sort of like in a daze. You see lots of them missing limbs. You see the people in stretchers being carried in. All of them have soldiers guards on, except for the guys carrying the stretchers. The guys carrying the stretchers have the same symbols you saw on the guys outside, the necromancers outside. The sort of life and death yin yang symbols on their robes.
I would like to attempt to speak to one of them if I can. I don't know if that'll even be possible, but it's worth a shot.
The people that are carrying the stretchers are just running by without paying much attention, but there is a person back where you came near the door that is sort of looking at you, seems to be sort of lumbering towards you, as though they can see you. They don't say anything, but they approach. They're getting almost within striking distance of you. What would you like to do?
I'd like to observe. Like, describe this person to me. What do they like? What do they look like? Is it one of these necromancers?
No, it's a soldier. He's wearing soldier's garb, armor. He has no weapons on him, and there are arrows sticking out of. Actually, no, they're not really arrows. They're like lances, basically. It looks like javelins sticking out of his chest. There's no reason that this guy should still be alive in this state.
Okay.
He's stumbling towards you with what looks like his last breath. And then all of the ghosts vanish. And this guy is standing in front of you, full-bodied, like a zombie, right? Just a corpse in front of you. He reaches out, puts his hand on your chest, and then he's gone. But there is a blood stain on your chest where his hand touched you, in the shape of his hand. This is a composure attack.
All right.
This is a three success composure attack.
All right. I suppose, can I take one of that to my resist?
Yes.
Actually, I don't think I will. I'll just take all of it to my composure.
Yeah, resist does not necessarily mean physical resistance. It can be just your determination to not allow this to manifest. But
yeah. I basically, I mean, this is purely metagaming. I just want to leave my options open for if I get hit more down the line. I mean, if I end up like sparing a composure just to get my health fucked over later, I'll feel like an idiot. So, yeah. Can I still see this person, or did he disappear as well?
He disappeared. You see the candle. You've apparently accidentally dropped the candle, and it's lying on the floor. It's about half melted now. The flame has gone out.
Oh shit, the flame's out now.
Yep.
All right.
But you still have the bloody handprint on your chest.
That's fine. I don't mind that.
Meanwhile, down several halls.
I already know why he's full of lances. Like just the fact, like his own body kind of tells the story I was looking for. So. I don't know.
Yeah, javelins are what the three sisters primarily utilized.
Yeah, I suppose I'm not sure it's metagaming or not. Just from being around Gunther for as long as I have, I know what they're using. But then on the other end, I'm just like, well, Heldren had the vision. He knows what they all used. Like, all right.
Well, that's another question: is like when he's looking, does any of the soldiers look familiar from the visions he saw through the old bard's head?
It's a good question. Didn't even occur to me.
Given the sheer number of them, I'm not sure you would recognize any of them. Specifically,
yeah, there's like 100 of them, aren't there, or like more?
There's like 100 that were checked into the hospital, and there's plenty more that never made it back from the battlefield. From what you saw in your earlier vision, when you saw the battle, you're guessing that maybe 10% would have been able to get out, if that.
So 100 was 10%.
Yeah. 100 was somewhere between 5 to 10% of the force that was sent after them.
So they killed at least 1,000 people.
At least.
So 1,000, 2,000. All right, that's yeah, that's a lot of dead people. That's better than Gatsu did in Berserk.
All right. So Troy, your dude is adventuring down the hall, and he stops, comes back to you, and says, for the first time he speaks, he says, "We're fighting ghosts?" Wait, is Troy here?
I'm here.
Okay.
Exercising, but yes. We're removing the ghosts.
He kind of squints his eyes and gestures down the hall and says, I don't want to punch that one.
What do I see? In the direction that he pointed?
There's something sort of shifting light in a room down the hall. You're not sure. You're not up close to it yet. But definitely, like, he is here with you. He's a light source, but there's some other light source further down the hall in one of the little side rooms.
Okay, so, but we just see light coming out of a room?
Yeah. And he kind of is just shaking his head, like, I don't want to punch that.
Oh, he said he didn't want to. I thought he said I want to punch that.
No, he says I don't want to punch that.
Are you telling me you fear this?
He,
A hero?
He cocks his head at you like, what? There's a crash as though something was knocked over. Not something like big, just like some light metal thing. Maybe a plate or like a pan. Some metal tray is crashing to the ground, and the light source quickly moves. And it seems to have gone into a different room. It did not come out of the room that it was in. It just is now in a different room.
Okay, there's light coming out from a different room. The sound came in the direction of the light?
Yeah, it almost looks like the light was afraid of the sound and moved. But the light also is coming from the same direction the sound came from. So whatever made the light source, it seems to have knocked something over.
Okay. Am I getting any sort of, if I focus on any sort of psychic reading?
There is definitely a psychic presence ahead. There is a mind of some sort, but it doesn't have any of the solidity or structure of a living person. If your character has ever encountered a ghost before, this is a very similar thing. Something has a presence on the astral plane and just doesn't quite have a presence in the physical plane the way it should.
Okay. I'll say Ghost or Man, we do not fear either. You can wait here if you like, but I will be I will be heading toward this, and I'll just start walking away from the guy.
All right. He sort of shrugs and follows after you. You can tell that the light source is keeping up with you. Yeah. The lady seems a little spooked by his reaction, but she's keeping up with you too. You're going into the room where the light source is?
I'm going up to the room at least. Is it far away or is it like close?
No, it's pretty close. I mean, getting there is easy, and all you have to do is step through the door, and you'll definitely see whatever's creating the light.
Okay, I've already made this show of not being afraid in front of these guys, so I'll just like walk into the doorway and look in.
There appears to be a small child, a little girl, and made entirely of glowing blue light, sort of hiding under a tray of medical equipment that's on wheels, and she's clutching the fragments of a sort of incorporeal teddy bear of some sort. Not really a bear, but some kind of bear-like creature, probably indigenous to the area. She looks terrified, and he sort of nudges you and says, "See? Don't want to punch that."
You're a wise hero. And I'll just blatantly say, little girl, why are you here? In somewhat of a calm voice.
She says, "Where's my mother? I want my mother."
Was your mother here?
"Mother brought me here. Then the men came, the soldiers. Where's my mother?" She's definitely kind of looks afraid of you. She's backed up in her little corner.
I'll say, there's nothing to fear. Why don't you come with us? We will see if your mother is here. Maybe you can help us find her.
Says, "Doctor says I shouldn't leave. Shouldn't leave this place."
I don't see any doctors here. Do you?
Says, "Yes, they're everywhere." And you see, it looks like something has grabbed her leg. You can't actually see it, but her leg jerks into the floor as though she's being dragged down into a lower floor. She screams and says, "No, don't leave me alone!" And her teddy bear sort of grows, projects into an arm that reaches out to try and grab you and pull you down into the floor with her. This is a direct psychic attack against you. She is rolling 5 dice.
That's pretty fucked up.
Is this something I can react to, or is this like happening to me? And then I suppose my reaction
This
would have
is
to be
something that
pretty
you
instantaneous.
can react to. You have 4 dice coming at you, but you can. This is a psychic attack, and you have psychic ability, so you can attempt to react to it. She got 4 successes. How would you like to react to it? It is a ghost teddy bear growing out to grab you in its arms and drag you into the floor with the screaming girl. You don't sense malicious intent in her, you just sense fear and a desire to not be left alone with whatever's pulling her down.
Okay. So she's holding. How much of a teddy bear is there?
Originally, it was a very small teddy bear that she was clutching. It is now nearly filling the room as it reaches for you.
Okay. So I'm going to, and I don't know if I can do this, but we're gonna find out. What I want to do is I can feel her fear, right? So I know she's afraid, and I know she's using the teddy bear to react. And what I want to do is basically use that fear and her wishing that the like bad guys would go away. And I want to make the teddy bear her like guardian that actually would stop them, and kind of make him somewhat sentient at a point so that he realizes where he should be directing his attack. Basically want to put my mind into the teddy bear for a moment.
Okay.
Like what I'm thinking into the teddy bear.
Let's see some
rising up
dice.
to the defender for the fear. I don't know what this would be in like a form of a spell. I don't know if I need to possess the teddy bear essentially to do this.
Well, yeah, I mean, currently the teddy bear, much like a Faythen'oc weapon, is a projection of her own belief that the teddy bear will protect her. And right now she doesn't want to be alone, so the teddy bear is doing her bidding to drag you down. But you can try to project your own will into the teddy bear.
So that's my goal, and then the teddy bear will talk and say, "I will protect you," and then react and attack the actual thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and if she's projecting like a Faythen'oc, that's right in your wheelhouse. Then you know how to manipulate a Faythen'oc.
Oh God, is that League of Legends or is it
Yeah.
Yeah, that's League.
creepy little girl? Okay, so what would this be?
She has 4 successes to accomplish what she wants. So you would need 4 or more successes to override her. This is your potential. Straight up psychic fight. Given that you are powering your spell with her fear, however, you may use her successes as pips towards your own. So you can get 4 pips from pulling on her fear as your source.
Okay, but I'm using purely potential, right?
Yep.
So I'm basically just hopefully reducing the damage. So I have 3 dice to roll. And I wouldn't get any other pips. It would basically just be from her. Because I don't have any other tools necessarily for this. Because you need
Magical tools are hard to come by sometimes. Psychic ones in particular. They exist, but they're hard.
All right. Can I argue a trait for this?
You may. Which trait would
So
you like
because
to
she's doing, she's trying to attack me with a psychic attack, and I'm trying to turn that psychic attack against her. Is that psychic interference?
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
So I can take a threshold bonus for that?
Yes, you may.
All right, 2 successes. So lessened it a bit.
All right. You have a choice. You can take this as a psychic attack, or you can take this as a physical attack with the bear literally slamming you into the floor.
I think I'll take the psychic attack.
Okay. So you go to engage her in psychic combat, basically, and you find that her fear just tears through you. The bear itself is rendered incorporeal by your interference, and so you are not thrown to the floor, but you feel her fear as a real thing, and it sticks with you. Its memory lodged in your spine. A moment of pure fear that you'll never forget.
It's my thing. I had to get a taste of it eventually.
And then she's gone. The only light in the room coming from the glowing gloves of your Sir Punchalot hero. Gallista is just sort of wide-eyed. She's not sure what to make of this. She turns to you as the bard in there is. Should I stab it next time? I don't want to hurt a little girl.
I'll look at both of them and say, we clearly know who there are more enemies here, and some aren't. Some aren't dangerous, but we know that the ones that aren't far away. So maybe we don't attack the little girl, but we know, be ready for a fight as soon as we see her again.
We will rescue the ghost girl, she says. She does seem like she's not sure whether she should be using her spear, which is incredibly unwieldy in these close quarters, or her bow, which is incredibly unwieldy in these close quarters.
Does she have any visibly smaller weapons?
No, there's nothing about her that is visibly small in any way.
I should just give her my short sword, but she probably wouldn't know how to use it because it wouldn't be big enough.
Well, she would just like crush it.
Yeah, it'd be like giving a fighter a needle. They'd be like, "All right, cool. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this?"
Is this for sewing?
No, clearly what she needs to do is to fire her spear from her bow.
Oh, she can do enough damage with those arrows. So.
You're pretty sure that has not been ruled out.
That being said, she could just make a hole in this floor, right?
Yes. And the little girl was sucked into the floor. The structure here has gone for about 20 years without any upkeep or maintenance whatsoever. The building is built entirely out of wood. If you want to break the floor, you've seen what this woman can do to wooden barriers.
Yeah,
imagine there
she doesn't know
probably are
that.
also stairs. So you might not need to resort to smashing through floors.
Yeah, but this is more of a time is of the essence thing. I don't want to damage.
I mean, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, who's gonna fix this place up?
Like, this girl died at least 20 years ago, so is time really of the essence? Could be. I mean,
just saw her go through the floor.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not.
And this is a question. Is it time to go off on your own? Or is it time to return to the party and report? Because I know exactly what would happen in a horror film.
You would go off on your own.
Absolutely.
Maybe send one of the two heroes back to report to us.
Yeah, but the one I'd send back has the light source. Has there been anything, because we kind of had a focus, and so we saw the light coming from the girl, and it was obviously an eerie blue kind of thing going on. Have we come across anything else that could be a potential light source, or is everything kind of like there hasn't been anything?
All of the
we're seeing the
rooms
same
have
situation.
places where there would be candles inside them. Outside in the halls, they did not appear to have any kind of like candle holders or anything. So as best you can figure, people wandering the halls would have been carrying candles with them instead of relying on local light. But inside the rooms, there's places for candles to be. You can make a resources check and see if you can find a candle still unburnt.
Yeah, I mean, I might as well. Is that just pure resources?
Yep. Unless you have any talents that add stuff to it.
I'm not exactly being thorough right now. Although I've been looking for light sources this entire time. I could argue it, but I don't have anything else that necessarily lends to it. Yeah, let me just roll 2 dice and see what happens. One success, not so great.
It's occurred to me that the recording is going to have weird artifacts of like all of our pictures disappearing every time I go to check the results of a die roll. I'll have to figure out a better way to do that next week.
What I do is in my second monitor, I bring up Discord on my browser and I just leave it on the Talus channel.
Oh, that's smart.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have all the sheets on the other monitor, but I didn't think about putting like just a roll.
Yeah, exactly. I do the same thing. I have like all the character sheets on my second monitor, and then I also have the Talus channel in my browser, so that I can have the regular just Discord program on my main monitor.
That is a good call. I'm going to see if I can set that up real quick.
Yes, very clever.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Improvised lamp.
This is likely not possible, or I don't know if it is possible. But if I feel like the best of both worlds would be if we could somehow get Novus Uther to roll inside the call, but I doubt that's doable unless we can actually call Novus Uther.
We might be able to invite him to the call somehow. But he's a bot.
Exactly. Can you invite bots into calls, basically? Which I wouldn't be surprised if you can't. I kind of expect that you can't, but if you could, that'd be awesome. It would let us do everything in one window.
I assume you'd like have to friend him somehow.
Yeah, and you'd probably have to make him auto accept calls.
You wouldn't have to accept the call. You would just have to be added to the text channel of the call of the video call.
I'm trying to figure out how to log in to Discord here. It just keeps trying to create a new account.
Oh, 1 sec. Here, I'll do the same.
There's a sign in on the top right when you go to the website, discordapp.com. There was a sign in on the top right for me when I went onto it. There is an option to call Uther. I assume Ed would have to have him call us, I think.
Yeah, so is there a button that says open on the top right for you, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, just press open.
Okay. It's like a blank one, like I'm not logged in with anything.
Oh, weird. Because when I press open, it just brings me right into Discord. Are you signed in?
It might be like on a default thing or something. Yeah, you might just need to murder a cookie or something. I don't know how Discord holds on to your login.
Yeah, because I know all I have to do is just click the open button. I'm not sure. I mean, my credentials are saved in my browser, so maybe that's why. But I don't know. Or if you just click open Discord. Maybe try doing it in another browser. Like
okay. I had to log out. It had me logged in with like a temporary doesn't really exist account.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In order to log in again.
All right, yeah, that'll do it. I'm gonna make one more real quick drink because I'm feeling it.
Uh-oh, Not's awake. And opening my calculator app over and over again. I don't know why there's a button on my keyboard that opens a calculator, but she loves to step on it. All right, well, I've got that open now, so now I can see the successes. That's good. All right, so you got a success. Well, it's just a candle. Yeah, so you find a not fully burnt candle.
Okay, I'm sure I can figure out a way to light this. Daggers make sparks and shit. I don't think I remember their names. Shen? Is that what it was?
The heroes that are with you?
Yeah,
I have named Faythen'oc and Aglaela.
Sinlon and Gillista. Sinlon is the guy with the fists.
Shit, I was way off.
Gala, Galista. It's the same. I don't think I ever read him back anyway.
I wasn't sober when I wrote that.
Fisticuffs. I'll tell Zenlon to run back and tell them what we found. And bring them back here. And I'll tell Gwilista or Gullista?
Gillista.
Gullista. I'll say to Gullista, we should hurry and find some stairs or the fastest method down you can think of.
If you take Galista, you don't have a light source, do you?
Yeah, but I'm gonna after we start moving, I'm gonna try to light my candle.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. All right.
Which I feel like I should just have flint and tinder stuff, but if I don't, I can do some dagger sparking.
Okay, so she has sort of the same thought you had. She's like, I could just break the floor.
Deep. How much information am I gonna get? That would be a quick way down.
Says, indeed. I don't think they'd be as upset about it here as they were at the inn.
Ah, yes. No one would care about here. Let me get out of your way.
I love that you're never gonna come clean about what happened
If
at the
he
end.
asks me, I mean, I thought about apologizing to the bard or like just talking to him, being like, you have very effective heroes on your side. Our teammaker has proved useful, but I had like a whole conversation lined up in my head.
So if Ed and Kristen jump into this party, these gonna be the two characters they play.
Ed is actually going to play as an Imperial.
Yeah, he was telling us about that.
Yeah.
I've got a great little story.
He was telling me about that, but he's telling me about that like 3 sessions ago, so I wasn't sure if he was still planning on doing that or not.
Yeah, I don't know about Kristen, but I haven't had a chance to talk to her, but Ed is definitely all on board for playing an Imperial character, and it's got a pretty cool little sort of story hook for him.
Okay. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool to like hook an Imperial into this party.
All right, so Miles, having recovered from your explorations of being attacked by zombie dude.
Yeah, I'm weirdly okay. You know, it staggered me a little, but I'm all right with it. Like, you know, shit happens. I'll live with it.
Yeah. So you I guess continue sort of rifling through the paper. There is one notation on the paper that's really kind of foreign to you. You're not sure what it is. Every single one of these guys has a number. They're not unique numbers. You see the same number repeated for several guys. But there's a number written next to... it's kind of at the end of the last column of every entry on the ledger is a number.
So I'm going to guess it's something related to... As far as I'm aware, Imperials don't have a caste system, correct? And that might be something I wouldn't even have the fucking first idea about. So... but like, as far as I know, that's not a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely observed that they do have upper and lower classes. There's definitely lords and peasants.
I would expect that there wouldn't. I mean, so how many different numbers am I observing when I'm reading through these records?
Oh, a bunch. Some of the numbers are unique, others are repeated. Yeah, they're...
But they're definitely not unique. So.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not unique to each person. It's not
okay.
like serial numbers or social security numbers. There's some repetitions occasionally. It does look like the repetitions seem to have be on people with similar injuries.
Oh, okay. So it's probably some kind of code. It's probably some kind of hospital code, as opposed to, say, like a class identifier or a rank identifier or an ability identifier. So it's probably an injury code.
The people that were marked as non-recoverable all appear to have very similar numbers, and they're all relatively low numbers. The people that require magical assistance seem to have the highest numbers in terms of like just the number value.
So this is basically priority ranking of like whatever magical like clerics or healers or whatever they have. This is probably priority ranking of who to get to first. Like, you know, you get to the higher numbers first because those are the ones who are the most critical. The lowest ones would be the people who are essentially already dead, so there's no use in expending energy on them, would be my guess.
All of these are reasonable assumptions.
And
then a man with glowing fists enters the room.
All right, yeah, I'll kind of halt whatever I'm doing and kind of look his way. Say, yes, Senelon, what brings you here?
Found a ghost.
Say, did Draven send you?
Yep, this way.
All right, lead the way. And I was kind of motioned to Masashi to follow along.
I love this guy so much. Just the guy that doesn't even talk to you guys.
Yeah, Masashi just like dumps out his bowl, like the lower mints, and wipes it clean before it puts it on his back. John's behind them.
And I'll tell Senelon. I'll be like, wait for Masashi. I'll say, Masashi, how much of that purifying rainwater do you have collected?
Kettle's worth.
All right, that should be plenty.
In true Faythen'oc style, this guy decided he was going to be the strong silent type, so he decided to be the strongest and silentest of the strong silent types.
I'll say, understand that, I'll say, Senelon, you will not have to say another word. I would not besmirch your silentness anymore. Just lead the way.
And so he does. And yeah, you guys, you meet up at what I'm guessing is going to be a hole in the floor by the time you get there. Unless you stop her.
I'm getting behind her and ready and like starting to work on lighting the candle while using her as a shield.
We know Callista's ways.
And I know not to be near the thing she destroys.
Okay. Do you want her to put the hole in the hall, or do you want her to put it in a room?
If she asks me, I will direct toward where we saw the girl go. So I'm assuming that's in the room, in like the back of the room.
Yeah, in the back of the room.
We follow her down.
So with a strike of her spear, she shatters a piece of the floor, and the rotted wood begins crumbling away, opening a gradually wider hole. And she stands there looking proud of her work until it reaches her feet, and then she falls in.
Oh, I saw that coming so bad. Wait, am I going down too?
She has disappeared into darkness. The crumbling is approaching you. You have the presence of mind to avoid it. Also, you have really good agility if you want to. You can. You don't even need to roll. You can just back out of the room if you want to avoid it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna nimbly get out of the way, and go back to lighting the candle.
All right, you step out of the hall. You get your candle lit. Well, what did you light it with? Just like flint and steel?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I have it. If I don't have it, I will try to do it with daggers. I don't know how that's gonna go. But I figure I would carry an essential like flint.
Not to give anything away, I just wanted to know if you were lighting it with magic or not.
I'm not lighting it with magic. I would more likely take the light away from a candle than I would give it.
Fair enough. So you get the candle.
See, once again, we're opposites.
Oh, you should be really happy that I wasn't in the room with the candle, because I would have just been like, no.
Yep. Yeah.
Turn that off.
And well, I mean, the end result is all I did was take composure damage, so that honestly might have been for the best.
You get the candle lit in time to note, because you're in just pitch black. You get the candle lit in time to notice that the floor is continuing to collapse out into the hall towards you. Backing away, you see that the sequence of collapse is not radiating out, but is in fact turning towards you and approaching you.
Awesome. So it shit.
Like the collapsing floor is chasing you.
All right. So I want to basically hold the flame from the direction I'm going to be moving in, as to not have it go out. And I want to use grace and just jump like down into the area where she should have fallen.
Okay.
And try not to have the fire go out on my way down.
Heldren, you come around a corner with your guy to see Draven holding a candle at the other end of the hall. He's not facing you. He's facing away, but he just leaps down a hole in the floor that then sort of closes itself.
Wait, the hole closes itself?
The hole closes itself and becomes floor again.
There's no more hole there.
No more hole there.
Is Senelon still with me?
He is. He looks concerned.
I'll say, Adelon, your companion, Callista, is not with us. She must be down there. Can you smash a hole in this floor?
He doesn't even respond in the affirmative. He just starts punching the floor.
All right, perfect. I would like to he believes he can do it. He wouldn't be doing it if he didn't believe he could do it. So I want to channel into that. I want to focus hard on that. And I want to kind of inspire him with my own bardic ability. I want to kind of start telling a story about how when his friend was in need, he could effortlessly smash through any barrier that stood in his way.
All right. Go ahead and make your roll. Tax your stamina there, and let's see how much bonus you give him.
And I can't just tax my potential, right? Instead.
Yeah, if you want to, you can just tax your potential by 1, and that will pay for the entire
price. My stamina's in rough shape. My stamina's now in rough enough shape.
You are allowed to also tax endurance.
Oh, yeah. What's the ratio on endurance?
Exact same as stamina. The difference being that your stamina can only be used for supernatural stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna tax my endurance then.
I guess your stamina can't only be used for supernatural stuff, but it's yeah.
Shit, I only got 1 success.
Your stamina can only be bonused by supernatural stuff. Or something. Okay. I need to get better clarification on that with Ed. Okay, you give him a little bit of a bonus. Let me do some rolls for him.
Not much.
I need to look up what his combat ability is here.
For his sake, I should hope it's high. Like, if it's not, what's he doing?
Melee 1.
If you're running around with spike gauze as a Faythen'oc hero, it better be high.
Wow, that was a pretty horrible roll that he made.
Yeah, no, those pips saved his ass pretty hard.
Yeah, and then your success is added to that. So in total, he's got 6 successes.
If you're doing the browser window, you should like drag it over to the main window so everyone can see the result.
Oh.
In the stream.
Yeah, I got to figure that out. I'll figure out a good setup to do in OBS for next week.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, we can describe it as he had 2 natural successes, then he had 3 more successes purely because of pips.
Yeah, purely because of the Faythen'oc quality on his gloves. So he just does tear into the boards below, and opens up a hole into what appears to be some kind of a cellar. The glow from his gloves illuminating this section below.
All right, I'll pat him on the back. I'll say, "You did fantastic work, Faythen'oc. Yeah, you were a true hero. Now lead the way." That was kind of, pat him hard on the back, like in between the shoulder blades, just kind of get him to jump down in, and then I'll jump in after him.
And you land in what looks like a sort of cold storage cellar. Barrels that may have once contained water, maybe chemicals that are used in medical treatment. You're not sure. But most of them are rotted away. And yeah, there is a door out of here. It hangs ajar. And yeah, otherwise nothing apparent in this room.
I would like to loudly call Draven's name. See if he is nearby.
Draven.
And then, by the way, what is Masashi doing in all this? Did he jump in after us? Or...
That's a great question.
Yes, I did. As I say, look down below.
He does the superhero landing.
Yeah, I'll say, Masashi, perhaps it's time to start brewing a tea with your purifying water. I sense we may need it soon.
Draven, very, very distantly above you, you hear sort of a voice calling your name as you crash through the ceiling of a farmhouse, landing in one of the upper floors. Everything is drained of its color. It's like you've stepped into a black and white painting. The world outside actually looks like it's been sketched in pencil, or maybe textured with charcoal. But the world inside is a little more real, just devoid of all color, except for you. There's a girl looking pale and sickly in a bed, surrounded by her family. Looks like 2 siblings, a mother and father. They're sort of weeping, and the mother says, "We have to take her to the hospital." And the father says, "We can't afford to pay." The mother says, "I don't care what it will take." And the father says, "They'll take you. They'll enslave you to pay the debt." She says, "Our daughter's health is more important." And she picks up the daughter and carries her out of the room.
It's fucked up. It's just them in the room?
Yes, although as the daughter leaves, the room becomes less real. Becomes sort of a pencil sketch of a room, less of a real room. You feel the floor underneath you starting to give way, and you crash through the floor and land in some kind of a room. This room feels a little more real. Your light of your candle is now illuminating, at least in color. And yeah, you seem to be just surrounded by stone masonry on all sides. The room is fairly big. It's like, 20 feet to a side. Not very tall, though. Very cramped down here. The ceiling appears to be made of wood. And there doesn't seem to be anything down here except for the bones of dead rats.
Okay. So there's wood above me and I assume a hole or not a hole?
You fell through a hole, and yet when you look up, there is no hole.
Okay. And looking around the room, do I see any doorway or is it pure stone?
Stone on all walls. Dirt floor beneath you.
And rat bones?
Yes. Several rat bones. Like full skeletons of rats, actually.
Okay, can I still sense the psychic girl, like the fear?
You do sense fear all around you. It is hard to pick out a particular person, but you can make a roll and try.
Sensing fear, I think, is enough.
And in addition to fear, you also, because you have keen belief, right?
No, I just have keen psychic.
Oh, keen psychic? Okay, yeah. There's plenty of fear. Your cup runneth over with fear. Meanwhile, in another part of the basement, Miles, there is a door here.
So, did I hear anything back from Drouin?
No. I assume you were not just shouting, but also kind of psychically reaching out.
I would assume I'm psychically keen, so that's every time I shout, I'm psychically shouting. I would assume.
You don't sense him in the immediate vicinity.
I'll tell Senelon specifically, but I'll tell everyone. Of course, I'll also tell Masashi. I'll say Senelon, Masashi, Draven's not here. Callista's not here. They are not nearby. Is this where they fell through the floor? He told us they fell through the floor, right?
No, you watched.
Oh, you saw it.
You totally saw him fall through the floor.
Well, I mean, I didn't see it, and Masashi didn't see it. Senelon saw it.
No, you saw it. You came around the corner with Senelon and Masashi, and you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So we did see it, and we jumped through in the same place.
Yeah, well, he broke through the floor in the same place. You didn't see him fall. You saw him jump, like purposely leap into the hole in the floor.
Okay.
And this is the exact spot where you saw that happen.
Is there any possible benefit in like focusing super hard on my psychic, empathy, whatever, and trying to like hone in on any weird interference that might have happened?
Yep.
I would like to attempt to do that.
Go for it.
So what am I rolling here?
Potential, if you're using psychic ability.
Okay, so does my keen psychic come into play here? All right.
Yeah, I believe that is a 4-pip bonus.
And unfortunately, I already taxed it by 1, so I'm only rolling 3 dice. Oh, wow. Well, at least I got 1 success. Without the pips, I would have got nothing.
While you don't sense him directly, you do sense tremendous amounts of psychic energy emanating from under the floor. The floor here is made of dirt. You're pretty sure you're at the foundations of the building.
All right, I'll say settle on. I know we're at the foundation, but can we go 1 level further?
He looks at his gloved hands, kind of looks at the floor, says, "Not good for digging. Need better tools." He just starts walking towards the door. Looks like he's on a hunt for a shovel.
Hey, fair enough. I don't blame him.
You think there's another floor down below?
Coming out of the room...
I think they're below us. That's all I can say.
Coming out of the storage cabinet that you had broken down into, you come into... so the door that leads out leads into some stairs that kind of slope down a little bit. And here the ceiling is a little thicker and made of stone arches, not just the wood that was above it. And this seems to be a sort of catacomb. It's very cold here, and there are just rows upon rows of corpses stored in nooks in the wall.
Okay, and who came across this specifically?
You did? You did. Well,
I did.
Senlin walked through the door.
Okay. I assume it was probably either me or Senlin. Masashi's kind of taking stock of things up there. So I'll call everyone down. I'll say, Masashi, this may be, if you have not brewed already, is maybe the right time to brew purifying tea. Not for us specifically. I don't intend for us to drink it, but I believe purifying tea may be needed down there if all the legends I have read and heard of and digested have led me to understand anything. It's that we may need a magic bullet down here, and perhaps you are that magic bullet.
All right. This is not ideal circumstances for brewing tea, but you did bring a kit with you.
And if need be, I can convince him that he's capable of creating a fire. I may have to text. I'm already taxed to oblivion. I may have to tax myself a little harder.
The hilarious part is all of you guys like looking for flint and steel and stuff. Like he's had that this entire time. He's had a kit for making fire.
The guy's got a fucking lantern on his staff. Like I know he can create a flame if he needs one. That's specifically why I avoided looking for one, because I was ready to, but.
I have a way of making of like boiling and stuff here.
I'll say you start that now. I would like to imbue him with the belief that this. I mean, he already knows that this is purifying water. In fact, this already is purifying water. But I'd like to do what I can to imbue him with the belief that this water can purify the negative effects of malicious spirits.
All right, go ahead and if you're going to brew tea, go ahead and make your roll, and then that'll be what you guys are doing for a little bit. So that takes some time.
Actually, no.
Switch over to Drake.
instead of that, I'll give him a little pep talk, and I want to venture downward because I'm a little wary of the fact that Draven and Callista have been left alone. So instead of contributing to that role, I'd like to
continue exploring the catacombs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's some kind of light source there because I do not have an independent light source. I probably should have. I should be carrying a torch with me at all times, but I never specifically narrated that before now. So
Sinlin is your light source currently with his magical gloves.
Fair enough. I'd rather. I don't want to separate him from Masashi though. So.
Whose spell was it that made his gloves glow? Was that yours?
That was mine.
Okay.
So, and I don't want to separate him from Masashi anyways. So, if Senela stay with Masashi, I suppose I should probably stay with Masashi because a bard venturing off without a hero is just pure stupidity. So.
Speaking of which, how you doing there, Draven?
What are you trying to say? I was following a hero.
Yeah. You've got Callista like right there with you. You're good.
I mean, maybe.
There are different types of bards. Draven's the type of bard that could probably survive on his own. I'm the type of bard that read a story about how dead I am.
You're the type of bard that needs me as my bard around.
Yeah, I'm the type of bard that just needs somebody. I need a bodyguard. I'm the type of bard that clearly needs a bodyguard. Draven could probably get away with just kind of going out on his own and assassinating people.
Yeah. I was curious for my team making. When do I ever roll potential?
So potential is generally only rolled for magical effects. However, and this is sort of the cool thing about potential is you can tax it to pay for any ability. So if you ever want to use an ability and not tax that ability, you can tax potential instead. Say, for example, you were to use your Grill Master ability that makes your tea give everybody bonus recovery, right? You could just tax your potential and not have to tax your survival.
Yeah, which makes your next one potent as well, right? Because it gets reduced over time.
Right. So it's a way of letting you tax things without reducing the effectiveness of the things you're taxing. Now, for magic users, it does reduce the effectiveness of their magic because they're taxing potential. Yeah. But for you, you don't have to worry about that. You can tax it freely. Also, the stamina that is generated by increasing your potential, you can tax as though it was endurance. It's basically identical to endurance. The only difference is that if you are ever at a disadvantage because you're acting against your nature, then you will not have stamina available to you as a taxing resource.
Yeah, so if you look at my character sheet, I've gone so far out of my way to avoid taxing my potential because I know I need it because I'm a bard. But if I was Wuthar, I would tax the shit out of my potential.
Yup.
Okay, let's see here. So it would be my crafting empathy.
So, Draven, you are in a room with no exits that are obvious.
So you said does the whole room feel real? If I'm focusing on different points, does any part of the room not feel like it should be there?
Are you using psychic ability to try and check?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll.
Okay, so what do I roll specifically for that? Is that just
potential,
or is it? And then I get pips from Keen?
Correct. Holy crackers, Tice, you are incredible at making tea. You've brewed up some 7 success holy water tea right there.
Jeez.
I presume, Tice, that you're using your alchemy stuff to make that like an anti-undead brew. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on the flask I have for this brew. I have a couple of symbols I saw that are for like holy stuff that I saw once on some banners that I drew on it.
All right. You and anybody else who's using that can treat that as a quality 7 weapon when using against undead for either physical or psychological attacks.
Yeah. Do we know where Draven and Ghost are?
No, but Draven is about to find out because he just had a really nice roll. He got 3 successes out of 3 dice. Draven, there's definitely something weird and supernatural going on about the room you're in, but it's not the physicality of it, it's the physics of it. You are sensing a tremendous amount of psychic energy that you used to be, like just moments ago were sensing below you, you're now sensing it above you. You have an intense sensation that if there was a ghost in this room, they would be standing on the ceiling, upside down.
Okay. One sec, let me kill a bug.
Would it be plausible to use my tattoo to get to Draven?
If you knew where he was, then you would be able to get there very quickly. Your tattoo makes you...
That's true. Yeah. It's an athletics thing, but I would need to know where he is, and I don't. I have a general. I know he went down. And that's really all I know. So I guess it wouldn't really help right now. All right, fair enough.
Okay, so there was psychic energy below me before, and now it's above me.
Now it's above you. You have a strong sense that if there was a ghost in the room, they would be walking on the ceiling.
Okay, but I'm sensing that the physics are wrong. So the ceiling is the floor. At least in Ghost World, or in my world, I don't know.
Yeah, and you're sensing that that's what's being affected. The actual floor, walls, and ceiling are, as far as you can tell, real. It's the physics that's being messed with by the supernatural.
So used to characters with explosives. This is so annoying. What do you do when you don't have explosives?
Are you in the psychic explosive?
Yeah, so what I wanna do is I wanna kind of undo the whatever is wrong. So if I'm assuming that this room is flipped upside down, essentially, I want to right it. I'm just trying to think of how that goes.
While you're contemplating it, your concentration is interrupted by a sort of scratching noise, and you see some of the rat bones are starting to twitch. We're going to cut back to the other group.
All right, so I heard Draven calling back from below me, right?
No, you didn't.
I didn't. Oh, I didn't hear anything.
No.
All right. Neither
physically nor psychically. However, you are starting to sense ghost presence coming out of the catacombs. The fresh brewed tea definitely has potent effects, but the scent of it wafting through the catacombs seems to have awakened something.
I'll announce my presence to it. I'll say, ye who has been awakened, I am here to tell a story. I'm here to record your name in history, so that when the tale is told of what happened here 20 years ago, that the names of those who are lost, regardless of what side you were on, regardless of who you were, will be remembered, because you all deserve to be remembered. So please tell me your name.
Do you still have the candle with you?
I do have it with me. It's not lit, but I do have it. It is lit. Okay, all right.
You look upon it and you see that the blue flame has lit.
All right, then I'll hold it. I'll hold it up in front of me.
In its light, you see ghostly figures sort of coalescing. There's 3 of them, and they seem to be in an argument. One of them is wearing soldier's garb, but very fancy, like a high-ranking general. You see incredible injuries, but this guy is still standing. His arm is in a sling, and it looks like there's not much left of his other arm. But he, despite all the scars, he is still standing and still looking fairly in charge. There is another man, a sort of courtier. This man looks less corporeal, less like a ghost and more like a memory. And you recognize him. You've actually met this man in the flesh. He is the mousy-looking man that was from the Lord's court. And then thirdly, there is a woman, definitely different from the other 2. The energies that are swirling around her are darker. But she is dressed as the hospital attendants, the sort of, with the yin-yang of life and death symbols around her.
All right, so the guy recognized that, Terrangear?
I believe that was his name, yes.
The advisor? Yeah. All right. Interesting. I will file that away for future notice.
It's a much younger version of him, but a version of him all the same.
I'm going to go out on a limb and assume he's exactly 20 years younger.
Exactly.
Wow, who would have thought? All right. So I will actually approach the one that's giving me visions, the necromancer warden chick. And I'm just going to tell her, I'm just going to say, I'm here from 20 years in the future. I'm a historian. I'm a storyteller. I'm here to make sure that your names are not forgotten and that your deeds are not forgotten. Tell me what happened here.
She appears to ignore you entirely and is engaging in an argument with the others. She's saying, you can't do this. It isn't right. And Terringer is responding and says, they simply can't pay their bills.
I'd like to keep listening because I want to know. I suspect that Terringer is a capitalist asshole, and I want to confirm that.
The general is saying, like, basically threatens Terringer, says, there will be consequences when my lord hears of how you've treated us. And Terringer says, this isn't coming from me. My lord has stated that this hospital has a cost. If you cannot pay the cost, you will not receive treatment. The woman then says, we shall see about this. And she storms away and then fades as she approaches sort of the edge of the wall.
I would like to follow the woman.
Your attempts to follow her are slightly impeded by a stone wall.
Does my second keen sense help at all?
You sense that the wall is made of stone? No,
Yeah, fair enough. Well, in any case, this is probably now the time to be figuring out where the hell Draven is, anyways, because I know he's AWOL, right? You know, I know he went off to do something in service of our goal, and we now don't know where he is. That's probably my top objective, anyways, is figuring out where the hell he went. Does my keen psychic sense get a sense of where he is?
Go ahead and make a roll.
What would I be rolling there?
Your potential to use your psychic, but your keen gives you 4 pips.
All right, 3 successes.
You sense him somewhere below. Not directly below, but maybe back towards the room that you were in when you first fell through. He's somewhere below that room.
Okay, I would like to go back to that room, and I'd like to say, perhaps we should search for a stairway downward. I'll point to Senelon. I'll say, I believe you could punch right through this floor, but I'm not sure that that's the right path at this point. I believe that there may be a staircase downward. If there's not, by all means, I will call upon you to punch a straight path through.
He had been looking for a shovel, but he hasn't found one. And so he is with you in the room, sort of looking concerned at the dirt floor. Meanwhile, Draven. What's your plan?
I have not thought of a way to do something I don't know how to do. So what I think I need to just deal with whatever impending this is, and it's probably going to injure me in doing so. Let me think exactly how this is going to work.
But if it matters specifically, I want to, if we couldn't readily find a path downward, I wanted to order Senelon to start punching downward while we continue to look for a way downward.
Punch the dirt?
Punch it till we find the next chamber down.
What emotions can I feel right now? Like just what?
Fear and anger.
Okay, so I want to key in on the anger, and just anger, try to find rage. If there's not rage, just kind of pull anger together into more and more rage, and
You find some
push it.
rage.
I find some rage, and kind of turn that into just find people that are angry at whatever attacked them, and just like the burning rage, and just focus that on my fire from my candle and try to make that fire grow as big as possible.
Okay. This is a supernatural effect. You're basically creating a fire weapon, a magical fire weapon. Is that correct?
Yeah, essentially, I'm basically trying to make a fireball.
Okay.
CDLR?
Zach De La Roca, we're Long Beach folk, man. You know, we're all about Rage Against the Machine. You know, they started right here.
Got it. I just rolling potential again?
Yep.
I don't get anything for this, right?
You get your keen psychic.
Just that.
So 4
Okay.
pips, yeah.
I'll take it.
Very nice. I mean, Fireball is the 3rd circle spell, so that's what you need. If you want to straight up just fireball these skeletal rats into oblivion, we are talking about a 15 tax to either your endurance or your stamina, unless you have any bonuses that you can argue would reduce that. Fireball being a third circle ability, it causes area damage, and it causes huge area damage actually.
This is gonna hurt me, right?
No, this is a psychic manifestation.
A psychic manifestation, and I'm controlling it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can pay for it. Okay, so I can burn a potential for 5, right? Or is that
that's
1 to
correct.
5? So I could burn a potential and then burn the rest of my stamina and then burn endurance. And I would be able to cast it.
You would burn a lot of shit.
I mean, I'm gonna blow up this room. That's essentially what I'm doing. And there's a wooden ceiling, so I'm hoping it has somewhat of an effect, if at all. I don't know. But I'm assuming the blast radius from this should be the room. Yeah, okay, so I'll pay for it that way.
All right. Heldren, what you witness is you witness Sinlin. He reaches back his fist, he punches down in the dirt, and the dirt just explodes upward with a blast of fire. Just like an explosion rocks the room. It's incredibly impressive. He's really proud of himself.
And I'm witnessing this in the room that I'm in right now.
Yeah, the storage room that you first fell into through the ceiling with the dirt floor.
But Draven and Galena are not in here.
So after the explosion of dirt, you see the dirt start sort of spiraling down like it's pouring towards a drain. And in the midst of that, you see Draven desperately trying to climb up the dirt and stay afloat as it pours itself down through a hole even deeper below where he was. Charred bits of rat skeleton are flowing down with it. I was totally going to have you fight against a giant skeletal rat, too. All the little rats were going to form together like Voltron. It was going to be awesome, but you just annihilated
I was actually afraid of that exact thing. And I was trying to think of how to manipulate different rat bones and shit. No.
Yeah. I'm gonna drop my tea kettle and my lantern down. I'm gonna use my pole to offer it so he can pull himself out.
I'd like to catch it if I can.
All right, go for it. I think you have a bonus athletics, right?
Oh, yeah, I would like to use my tattoo to make sure I can bonus 6 dice.
That's right. You flash that tattoo to your Faythen'oc friends and go for it.
So this is athletics and probably agility.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, I'd normally rolling 1 dice, but luckily I'm rolling 7 dice. I got 3 successes.
Okay, so you go ahead and narrate it. This is basically like a whirlpool of dirt, and he's flailing in it, trying to stay afloat. Narrate how you rescue him.
So I'm gonna catch the catch like the tea kettle that's dropped to me, and I'm gonna pour it directly in Draven's throat, and then he is now thoroughly sanctified, and I'm gonna grab his arm and I'm gonna pull him out.
Awesome.
You expertly gave me a drink.
So as you literally run down the slope of the falling dirt, you pour the tea into his mouth, grab his arm, and run straight back up again with blinding speed. As you're running, you actually feel as though there are wings coming out of your back that are beating the wings of great eagles.
Like, yeah, thank you, Venatori.
No one actually sees the wings, but you feel them. You can tell.
I'm the one telling the story. I don't care what they can see.
Exactly. All right, and so you are up at the top. This hole goes down further than the room that you were in. So what you see now that the dirt has poured down is that the dirt was basically suspended between two wooden walls. From what you can tell at this point, some kind of gravity manipulation was keeping the dirt in the middle, so it seemed like it was a floor to one room and a ceiling to the other. The other room being the one you were upside down in. Having been dissolved, your explosion also broke the what at the time you thought was a ceiling, but was actually the floor of the room. And through that hole, all the dirt has poured into a deeper cavern below, swallowed in darkness, through which you hear a like wailing, screaming, horrific noise, a cacophony of hundreds of tortured spirits.
All right, I'll say, I'll look to Drive and I'll say, is Callista down there?
I followed her down, but she wasn't where I was.
If she fell further than you did, then she would be down there.
Then we must assume she's down there. We must follow her.
She is a lot. I just stop. Stop talking.
All right, I'll look at her and I'll say, then I will follow her.
I mean, you're not wrong. She is a lot. There's a lot of her.
Yeah, it's kind of. I just stopped. That's all I said.
Right.
She is a lot.
I'd like to use my psychic gift to see if I can locate where Callista is.
Okay, she's going to be a little harder to locate than Draven was because she does not have psychic abilities in and of herself, so she doesn't create a beacon for you to lock onto really easily.
Okay.
Also, there's a lot of just generally psychic noise going on down there. Lots of spirits.
All right. So is there something I should roll, or?
Yeah, if you want to roll your potential, see if you can get a lock on her.
There's no chance I can roll that with my empathy, is there?
Nope. Empathy is badass for your art, but when it comes to wielding psychic powers.
All right. Well, I got my 3 successes.
All right, you can just tell the direction she's down. You don't know where down there. You can't really get a lock on her.
She's directly down.
She's somewhere amongst all that psychic noise. For both of you, this is sort of an interesting thing. You can tell there's a lot of spirits. There's a lot of souls of the dead. They have a big impact on the astral plane, which is your field. But there's also kind of a gravity pulling them down, and that gravity is not part of the astral plane. It has nothing to do with your abilities whatsoever.
All right. Well,
You just see them all headed in one direction, essentially.
Yeah.
I'll tell Senelon. I'll say, your companion Callista, she is directly below us.
He nods and jumps in the hole.
I do not know why. I don't understand, but we cannot abandon her. So we must go after her.
And Eldrin just keeps talking.
It's possible he may have heard some of the rest of the sentence
All right.
as he
Well,
fell.
all right. Well, I'll jump after him.
Draven and Masashi, are you guys going down the hole as well?
Is this like?
Does it look in any way safe? No.
Like, does it just look like a straight drop and we can't see at the bottom?
There's a little bit of a slope from the dirt until it reaches the hole, and then it's a drop, and you cannot see what's below that drop. But 2 of your party members have just leaped down it.
Okay, people are like pillows. I want Masashi to go first, though. I don't want the brick above me.
You're being a bird. That's what you're saying. You're being a real bird.
I just don't want the dude that has like a freaking giant backpack above my head.
I was curious. Does anyone have any rope? Or anyone that's still beside? Do you have any rope?
I don't have rope. Do you
So it's
have
like,
rope?
I
You
never.
have a large backpack, or you have a
Yeah.
stuff.
I never specifically said I had rope. It's one of those things where it's like, man, I wish there was like a D&D thing where it's like, yeah, we have an adventurers pack. It has like 50 feet of rope in it or whatever. But like, no, I never specifically said I had rope, so I'm pretty sure I don't have rope.
The okay.
Throwing knives, I could throw them down the hole and see when you guys scream, and that's how far down the hole is. That's how I check distance.
Do it.
Heldren, when you as you descend, anyway, you do see his why am I spacing on his name? It's right in front of me. Sinlin's light from his gloves you see kind of ahead of you, and he impacts the top of sort of this pyramid of dirt that has been formed by the dirt pouring in, and he just starts kind of sliding down it, like almost like he's surfing down the wall of dirt into the room below. It looks very graceful. You may or may not be as graceful as you are about to hit.
I will attempt to surf with him. Can I tax my tattoo again?
This would be an acrobatics, less athletics.
Well, then I'm completely.
Unless you have a really good argument for why surfing down a wall of dirt after falling in free fall is athletic and not acrobatic.
Are you running down it?
The best argument I could give would be I literally just channeled that, and this would be I literally just channeled my tattoo and my athletics, and this would be like a weird extension of it. That's the best argument I can give. If it doesn't work, then I'm probably about to take a fucking large tax on my health.
I see you nodding. You're like, yeah, let him do it. But it's
which I'm fine with. I don't actually care. Like either way, like the narrative purpose is served.
Okay, say something.
Hello?
Okay, good. She rolled over on the keyboard and hit a mute key that just muted all of my.
Oh, okay. So my best argument for why it might be athletics is that this is literally coming on like the very tail end of me invoking my tattoo so that I could make a successful athletics roll. So this might be an extension of that. If it's not, it's not. I'm not too worried about it either way. Like either way, I'll make it work.
Yeah, I think this is a little more acrobatic-y because it's not about pushing forth effort. It's about finding an angle to get your feet at where they don't snap like twigs when you land.
All right, I'll roll this now, and I'll deal with the consequences as a bard when they happen. All right, I got one success. I assume I'm rolling that with agility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, that's what I did because I have 0 athletics and 1 agility. So there we go.
Sinlin loans you 2 of his successes, so he basically, as he's sliding down, he sees you just like tripping up, and he grabs you and steadies you as the 2 of you fall together.
Okay.
Anybody else jumping down?
Yeah. You see Masashi from his side, he pulls off a umbrella. And when he jumps down the hole, he holds it upwards. And once he gets free from the thing, he pops it open. As like it's one of those like Japanese ones. And he's just like, of course, this will bring me down.
You're gonna Mary Poppins this. That's awesome. So in real life, umbrellas do not slow your fall like that. But you are Faythen'oc, so if a bard is powering it, then we may see something interesting. Just a second.
After I land, I could very well power that.
Or if Draven is looking down, then
Okay, there we go.
Back to
All
normal.
the browser windows, just every browser window, all over my screen. All right, is somebody going to try and turn his umbrella into a Mary Poppins scenario?
Am I able to?
Both bards are capable of this. He's a Faythen'oc. You can convince him his umbrella will let him float.
This might be more of your forte. I can do it.
All right, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Fuck it, why not?
Featherfall's a really simple first circle spell.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right now, I'm just wishing he'll get down fast enough so I can go down. So it's probably not helpful for me to do that.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. 1 sec. I'll roll my 3 dice. Does my psychic thing apply here at all?
Yep.
Is there a spell stone form?
2 successes.
Okay, you only needed 1, so that does it. So yeah, Masashi, you totally Mary Poppins your way down. No problem. Draven, how did you want to get down? Normal jump and slide?
Yeah, I think I can manage that.
Cool. It's a difficulty 3. You need 3 successes to not take damage.
Okay, 1 sec. Maha. 3 successes.
Ah, got it exact.
I don't want to burn agility right now. I'm not doing so well.
No,
in
you
other
know,
categories.
because like 4 successes would have been overkill. You don't want to be
Yeah.
like, you don't
It's
want
like
to
I can just take grace. I'll be fine. But
you don't want to make a spectacle out of it. You don't want to have too many successes. Flaunt yourself. So you got the perfect number of successes.
land better than the hero.
So the 3 of you slide to a halt at the end, and then gently behind you, Masashi lands. You are in a pitch black room, much taller and bigger than the other rooms. And flickering into light around you are a variety of glowing blue ghosts. They are forming a circle around you, and also there are some ghosts in the middle of the circle. Just 2 this time. It's the lady that you saw before, dark energy swirling around her, and you see a sort of faint memory of the Lord, Hypo. The Lord Hypo, his girth, sort of belaying any ability for martial combat, except that he has this spear. And the spear, even though he is like a faint, glowing sort of blue memory, the spear is bright green. It looks like a living branch.
I would like to start chiseling Daru's shield and engraving of it into the wall.
Okay. Interesting. I think you're setting something up here. This should be cool. Okay.
And honestly, I just want to use my artistry and my prose mastery. But yeah, I'm doing something interesting.
Cool. So yeah, this is the 2 of them seem to be facing off. This is clearly a memory from the past. She's shouting at him, is like, you can't do this. You're just letting them die. They need help. They need medical treatment. And he says, the Emperor has granted me authority here. built this hospital. It has expenses. If they cannot pay it, then they don't receive treatment. And we will lock the doors and let them die. And she is just enraged by this, and you see like ripples of magic traveling through this memory of her, and she says, "I will stop you, and the Emperor will hear of your treachery." And you see the Lord Hypay. He says, "The Emperor will hear of no such thing," and he takes his spear and stabs it straight through her heart, pinning her to the floor. He then reaches over, tries to retrieve the spear, and is just blown back by a shockwave. And then his memory sort of fades. But she is still there, and you realize now that she is not a ghost. There is a physical body impaled by a glowing green spear in the middle of the floor, and dark necromantic energy is just rioting out of her in all directions.
I'd like to collect as much of that memory as possible. I'd like to try to speak to her even
Okay.
on a spirit level.
Contacting her mind is pretty hazardous, given that she is basically just in continuous incoherent pain from the spear. But it is not impossible.
So what does the spear look like? It's like a.
It looks like a green shoot from like a new grown tree, but it's very, very sharp where the blades are.
Like at the tip, it like the whole thing doesn't look sharp.
Right, the tip just looks intensely sharp. The leaves actually, all of them look very, very sharp.
I'll say to Senlon, like it would take someone with great power to remove that. We should remove the spear.
I like how we're just playing them so hard.
Oh yeah, this is just we're so much worse than Harving.
Yeah, we're just playing them. We're just manipulating the shit out of these people.
Yeah, you usually go a better route though. I just don't want to. I don't want to touch the spear.
Yeah.
I'll channel some shit.
Well, Masashi will step up forward and he will give about paying respects to the dead as he gets his tea kettle filled with the holy tea, and he will pour it down the top of the spear until it reaches to the bottom, and where he will wait for.
I'm going to stop you right there, because although I love the narration, you're not anywhere near it, and getting near it is going to be hard. Swirling black energy is emanating from her and is animating bones in the room. They're forming together into shapes, not really creatures so much as just tendrils of bone that are lashing out. You did make an attempt, so you're moving forward along with the Sinlan? Wait, hold on. Let me get my notes. Too many characters. Yeah, Sinlan. You're moving forward along with Sinlan. He wants to pull the spear out. You want to purify it. That's excellent. There is just a giant tendril of bone coalescing and coming charging at you. When out of the floor bursts Gillista, holding the hand of the little girl. And the little girl's teddy bear basically grabs the bone and knocks it aside. It's not going to be easy getting past the tentacle, but it looks like the teddy bear's created a safe spot for you to make a plan and execute on it. There are several of these bone tentacles flailing about from the dark energies being unleashed by this woman.
How big is this bear right now?
The bear is actually bear-sized right now. But it's just wrestling with the tentacle that came after you. The tentacle is made of bones of people. It has skulls and rib cages all bound together into one writhing shape.
While this is happening, I'd like to speak to the girl.
The little girl? Okay, go for it.
I say, what is your name?
My name is Autumn Flower.
So, when the tale is told of what happened to her, I will make sure that your name is remembered.
She's not sure what all of that means, but she says thank you.
Okay. So I want to. My goal is to free up that bear because it can be useful. So I kind of want to definitely hit a bunch of points on the tendril that it's wrestling with, and kind of like stab at it with my daggers to like break it apart and see if that does anything to it.
Okay.
Basically trying to shatter connections with all the bones.
All right, so we'll take turns then. So that'll be your thing. So you're trying to shatter bones. Go for it. This is probably a melee thing.
Yeah. I
And
figure
I'm
I can
gonna say
do.
most likely melee plus vigor.
So if would it be vigor to like try to shatter it, and would it be agility to try to hitting it in multiple points?
Agility would imply that there's precision in your strikes, which is assisting you, whereas vigor would imply that you're just trying to smash, smash, smash. It's up to
Yeah.
you
So
which
if
one you
I'm
want to go.
so if I'm trying to break the connections and seeing if I can like separate it from where basically he's wrestling,
Okay.
I'm not gonna be good at smashing it. Like my goal is to make the tendril smaller.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, 6 successes.
Well, you dominated that roll.
A very nice roll. You deftly leap around, striking at what you feel would be weak points in a tentacle. But unfortunately, the energy that's holding it is non-corporeal. So while you are able to sever bones, they are rapidly replenished, and the energies are pouring out of her and forming it, not binding it the way a physical thing would be bound.
Got it.
Can I grab the girl?
Yeah, the little girl is here. She's next to you, watching her teddy bear, Mr. Huggles, wrestle the tentacle.
All right, and I'd say, Masashi, give tea to this girl. The purifying tea.
There is a reasonable chance. It's not unreasonable for you to assume that if she fades out of existence, the bear will too.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm okay. You know, if we have to confront the tentacle by ourselves, that's fine. I feel like there's an equal possibility that maybe by granting her kind of a free release, that maybe she'll actually be redoubled on our behalf. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Either way, worst case scenario, whatever we set a little girl's spirit free. That's worth something in its own right, right?
Yeah, maybe. Masashi, it's your call. You can either do that, or you can try and brave the route past the tentacle, and see if you can get to the woman without taking too much injury.
After seeing the Amazon, this woman burst out of the floor, I'm gonna go over to her and I'm gonna be like show me your crossbow with an arrow in it.
Ah, clever. Okay, so she draws what we're going to generously call an arrow, although it is, again, the size of like a siege weapon.
Yeah, and then I will pour the tea all over the arrow tip, and I'm go like, "You're a good hit. Hit that body in the middle."
All right. So you have imbued her with holy arrows. Let's see how well she does.
Yeah, because it's 7 pips for whatever.
That's a lot of points.
She did pretty damn good, is what she did.
Your arrow strikes true, and you see the holy power sort of impact the woman, and the streams keeping the tentacle together do weaken. The bones are held together less securely as her energy falters for a moment.
And that's when I tell the what's his name to charge.
And charge he does. He has 4 successes. Against the tentacles 5, he decides that he is going to just take the damage. And so he gets thrashed around by the tentacles, but he does briefly get his grip on the spear and pulls it away slightly before he's ripped and tossed back against the edge of the room. You can hear his ribs crack as he impacts the wall, but he's still standing, as any good hero does. Let's see. The ghosts in the room are filled with rage at the spectacle, but it's a sort of uncontrolled rage, and they begin just sort of dancing around through the air and then swirling down out of the sky at you guys. Doing 2 composure damage each. They are not physical things, they can't actually hurt you, but they are incredibly disturbing when they pass through you. Chills you to the bone. They are utterly maddened by the energies flowing out of this woman. All right, I think we're back to Draven. So everyone had a turn, right? We did a full cycle.
I think so.
It actually doesn't matter really what order you guys go in. All of you can get a turn if somebody has an idea of what they want to do.
So he got. How did he get knocked back? Did he get hit by a tentacle? Or?
Yes, but he had his grip on the spear and he pulled it loose a little bit. It moved maybe an inch before he was tossed away. Progress was made.
Okay, can I? I would like to. This is gonna be dumb. I'm gonna try to rush toward the spear now. I can't. I don't have like much magic left, so I'm basically resorting to wet work shit. So I kind of want to just move quick and jump around and try to like dodge the tentacles and get to the spear.
Okay. Galista is going to give you covering fire and let loose another holy arrow to try and reduce the tentacle population. And she does. So now there's only 8 dice of tentacle stopping you. So if you can beat a 4, then you make progress. Or you can just take 4 physical damage and also make whatever progress you make. This is a labor roll, or you can do athletics. Either one is applicable.
Not acrobatics.
Man, acrobatics, that makes sense. You're like flipping and diving.
I'm basically trying to dodge them as I go. Yeah, I figured it was
sense.
more acrobatic than athletic. Okay, well, I'm going to grace for the agility. So I'm going to take the 4 successes and then roll 2. So 1 more.
Okay.
So that's 5. What's 4s coming at me?
Yes. It's generally physical damage. These are physical bone tentacles that are thrashing about the room.
Okay, I'm already bouncing around, so I should be able to do a void for this.
Okay, makes sense.
So I can probably just ride straight through this. So I'll burn 2 avoid and then 2 health, and that'll be all 4. And then I'll have 5 toward the objective.
You narrowly avoid the first 2 thrashes, and then one of them trips up your feet. You do get your fingers around it and then pull it out another maybe 1/4 inch before you're tossed back towards where the bear is wrestling a tentacle. Let's see, who else?
All right. I would like to narrate that Daru and her daughters, they destroyed you once, they defeated you once, and they're here again, channeling themselves through us. I'm trying to tell a story here. We're going to have what we came for, and you can fight it if you choose, but the result is inevitable. And then I would like to channel my tattoo to use my athletics to do whatever I can do.
All right. I'm gonna say your little story there is gonna give you some pips. On top of that, what's your let's see. What's your artistry?
My archie's 5.
Okay, so take 5 pips for your narration about Daru and her daughters.
All right, so I'll take my 5 pips. I'll spend my 5 stamina to get my 6 dice.
The tentacles rolled a 3 against you. So if you get better than a 3, then you can ignore that 3, and then whatever beyond 3 you get, you can make as progress, or you can take 3 damage physically and put all of your effort into pulling out the spear.
I'm sorry, did you say I got some kind of bonus?
Yeah, you have a 5 pip bonus for your narration.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. All right, I got 7 successes. I'll take 3 damage and take all 7 successes towards the dislodging.
All right. You pull out the spear. In this rush of wind, you feel, not only do you feel, but at this point, people can actually start to see these glowing wings forming behind you as you just supernaturally dash. You crash through bone, some bone splinters cutting you up a bit, but you grab the spear and you just yank it the rest of the way out of her. Her energy is still swirling around her, but the bones are no longer holding sway. They start dropping to the floor as the energy begins pulling inward towards her. Masashi, you still haven't done anything. Is there anything you'd like to do? The bones are no longer in the way, so it is not dangerous to approach her yet.
He'll nod his head down as he sees everything starting to fall down, and he'll walk towards her with his staff and go, "We've released you from your bonds. Master your yin and yang to be at peace now with yourself." As he slowly walks towards her and rest, my child.
Are you just going to talk to her, or are you going to do anything?
He's sort of he's going for the empathy. But yeah, he's just talking. He's sort of just trying to be in a calm, serenity voice.
Are you going to give her an ET?
I'm going to. I guess I'll pour a little bit like onto her forehead as like a symbol if I get up to her.
All right. As the whole ET touches her forehead, her eyes sort of open. You see color returning to her face briefly, and she smiles, and then she collapses, and her corpse withers into a skeleton, and the skeleton falls into dust. The spirits, you see them sort of evaporating around the room, and everything starts becoming calm. As the dust settles from all of the bones and bits, you can see there is a little bit of light starting to come in from the hole above where the dirt was. It doesn't look like spooky ghost light. It looks like maybe daylight. It is faint, of course, because the hole itself is inside of a building that has very few windows, but nevertheless, it is there. Eventually, after much shouting at the hole, you get the attention of the guards, who unseal the thing. You also sent Sinlun, who Glista just throws up through the hole. And he lands gracefully and goes out and gets the guards. They come back with rope, they pull you guys up. And in the light of the morning, you guys climb up out of the hospital that, is now purified.
So was that spear, the spear that was trapped, was that do I have any reason to believe that is, the green spear?
Yes, you have every reason to believe it, and you have the spear in your possession.
Okay.
You may choose whether or not you want to reveal it, but if you're going to step out of the hospital where the guards are, they're going to see it.
I'd rather not reveal it to them.
Okay, so you'll find a way to wrap it up in some cloth or something.
Okay.
I'm sure it's deteriorated, but there's probably plenty of cloth in there.
So I'm guessing, will you tell us to not say anything about this?
Yeah, I'll say we earned this. This is our spear. This is not their spear, and the Lord does not deserve this spear.
But this Lord is a villain.
Exactly. He does not deserve this spear.
So do we go slay the villain?
And that is a decision that you'll have to make next week. Good job, everyone. We've gone for longer than we've ever done with these sessions before. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes of role-playing there. Go ahead and do closing ceremony, but before we do, all of you are gaining a renown for this. I will explain why later, but her being brought to peace has done far more than just give you fame in this district.
All right.
All right. I'd like to give one to Miles for wanting to try to bring back the girl, send the girl past the afterlife, even though they probably might have wrecked us at some point with not having the bear to protect us. I also want to give one to Kite for his what was it? For just him, he knows that the bear is essential. So he was like, I'm just gonna stab these black tentacles of energy to try to help himself by helping others.
Right on. I'd like to give some experience as well. Specifically, I'd like to give experience to Drabin for the specific wording of "I don't know if I can do this, but we're going to find out" was, I feel like fluid in a nutshell can be summed up in that one sentence, and I fucking loved it. That was awesome. That really summed up exactly why I love playing in this system. So that was great. And then Masashi, for as soon as it started raining, you were like, all right, well, I'm going to use my kettle to collect rainwater. It was just such a good use of just like every resource we have available. You're like, all right, a new resource is available, I'm going to use it. You opened the pathway for pretty much everything that came after that. So that was really cool.
Some experience for Heldren for suggesting that we split up at the first possible moment that you suggested. No, it was great. It turned out to be very, very interesting. We always in our bigger groups resist splitting up pretty heavily, and so we started doing it more, and so let's just start with it. And Masashi, for the holy arrows, that's freaking brilliant. That was a really solid way to boost that. Like the long range character was probably going to do that kind of stuff anyway, but it was really, really effective and really good for something we needed.
Yeah, definitely. The holy water definitely got there a lot faster than I would have taken it there.
Yeah. Yeah, this Faythen'oc run is like fluid on steroids. It's like really pushing the system to a limit, which I think Faythen'oc are so outside of fluid system. I know they're in fluid system, but they're taking advantage of like every facet of it at all times, and so it's just it's like almost painful, but it's like my character's taxed to I can't do anything right now. I can only make attacks. Like I can't do anything that I'm else I could do. I'm essentially a thief right now.
Fluid like answered some of the problems we had because there were no other systems that can handle Faythen'oc. We tried all kinds of stuff, and eventually Fluid was the only thing that even marginally approached being able to handle it. But yeah, I'm enjoying watching what you guys are doing with this and taking the characters to their wonderful logical extremes.
Yeah, speaking of which, I now have 29 techs.
That is awesome. And that is what a dungeon crawl should do. So, congratulations, everybody. Enjoy your renown. And, we'll continue next week where you guys get to decide if you want to confront the Lord and maybe meet some new characters along the way. And we'll find out what happened to the tattoo artist.
Nice. I have 34 attacks, by the way.
Oh, you got me beat.
I think you guys are going to need a long rest at the end.
That fireball was rough.
I guess we got to drink a lot of tea.
Yeah, thank God we got Masashi here.
Yeah, I'm still hurting from the infight. Like I have the infight plus this shit.
Yeah, no, I walked into this dungeon crawl with like 8 attacks, so I was like, all right, we're just gonna keep piling on top of that.
Yeah, this is awesome. This like I like the not resting and like being like moving quickly and stuff. So that's what we should have done.
In a way, the entire empire is one giant dungeon crawl for you guys because of who you are and where you come from. Yeah, and I totally had like a whole like giant skeletal rat fight planned for that room. That it was going to be like, I expected you to just try like digging through the floor to get to like, upon realizing it's upside down, I figured you'd just start like clawing your way through the dirt, trying to get to the other side. I thought that the other guys might start doing something similar. And then it turned into, well, we're going to have the hero do a heroic explosion punch. And then you're like, I'm going to cast fireball. And they're like, yeah, okay. I know exactly what's happening, and it does not involve a giant rat anymore.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that being how the story gets told. That he
Yeah,
punched a
that
giant
was really
explosion into the floor.
And you're the one telling the story, so you know that's how it'll get told.
Yeah, I will make sure that I wasn't even there for that story. There was a bard present as this guy punched a hole and it exploded.
Yep. And that's how it will be remembered.
Awesome.
All right.
Good session.
Good session. I'm going to stop the recording now. Have a good night.
All right, have a good night, guys.
And that was it. That was a great session. Thank you all for watching. And of course, we'll be recording another one in 2 days, and then 5 days from then, 1 week from today, I will stream it again. So, see you then.